Live on YouTube, we are. Thanks for joining if you're here, and welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with the host and other viewers in real time, and remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community guidelines. Thank you so much, and welcome aboard the Atheist Underground. Let's see who's going to be first to join today. We're notifying viewers that you're live. Thank you, TikTok. It's very nice of you, considering you shadow ban me all the time and all kinds of other devious fucking undertakings that you do. Um, Non crazy, crazy cat lady. You're number one today, baby. What's up? Chase Suleiman, Macon Miller, three save three ever. Save sever. All right. Thanks for joining. Ranks 14. Rankins, guy on a couch. Scotty Too Fresh. Piper Performance. I love that. Hey, cutie. Jalen Page. Rachel Derver. Jason Merrill. CV for Life. James Stopanaqua Guy. Angel Smith. Lighten 1000. Nolan Sanchez. The Cyber Poet. Thomas Edwards. Shortcake McGee. I love that. Shortcake McGee. Use a lot of numbers. August somebody. MG Adams. Let's learn together. In 8. Courtney Love. Jim Boyster somebody. A Marcus. Hello, Valen Storm. How you doing today? Bionic Man Keith. Who remembers the Bionic Man? God, I loved it when I was a kid. That was great for kids to watch, man. I couldn't fucking wait till I got my bionic limbs, man. Yeah, no, they didn't ban me from going live. I did get the video taken down. Unsurprisingly, I knew when I was posting the limerick on Muhammad that it wasn't going to make it, and I really debated whether I should do it or not because I'm trying to keep on a roll where they're not shadow banning me because I feel like finally I'm off of my shadow banning. Twisted Techno Beast is on YouTube. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. I apologize if I can't pay as much attention to the YouTube because there's only a few of you here and there's many more on TikTok. So I try to go back and forth as best I can. So please don't feel neglected. If you put up a question, I will try to look at it and get to it. I appreciate you being here. Twisted Techno Beast got a Kermit the Frog uh, emoji or logo or avatar on his account. That's awesome. Okay, got a vape from the 60s and got a vape from the 60 and they don't make them the same. What's that mean? A vape, you got a vape from the 60? The dude does buy. Let me turn this around so people can see. There you go. The dude buys. And I got to switch the way I'm sitting because of the change in the camera angle. It actually messes me up because you get used to it, don't you? You get used to being on the mirrored video. Thanks for joining, everybody. Welcome to the Atheist Underground. We do this every Sunday at 11:30 on the East Coast, 10:30 Central Time. All aboard! Move on to the back of the train. Make room for your friends and any trolls that come aboard. You're welcome to be here. Just don't preach. There's no spitting on the train, no loud radios, and no preaching on the train. You will get the whistle and you will get kicked off by my great moderators. Non-crazy crazy cat lady. She's always here for me. Appreciate all the work she does so much. So works so hard and she doesn't sleep. I know she doesn't. And it's too bad because she needs a little rest sometimes too. So go follow her. Makes great contents and a hell of a cutie. Thoughts on the LGBTQ community? I'm a supporter. I'm a fan. I came up through theater and landscaping. Right. I couldn't escape gay people from the time I was 14, and in my experience, they've always been the greatest fucking people. So I absolutely love and support the LGBT community, and I'm so proud of what they've been able to do as far as mainstreaming. I'm really jealous. Wish that atheists could get as mainstream as being as being as the LGBT community is. You know, it's if you'd have told me back in the day that it would be more normalized to be transgender in 2021 than it would be to be an atheist in American society, I'd have told you were nuts. But yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, my train is pro-choice. Being pro-life is just telling people what to do. That's just adding more authority to our lives, and I'm a basically a libertarian underneath, who's in favor of social progression and all the social justice that any warrior needs to get for themselves. So yes, of course we're pro-choice. There's no other way to be. Did the dude actually think your treason whistle was a vape? Oh, is that what that was? Was that my train whistle and the treason whistle? Some people would probably call it a treason whistle, fuckers. At what point in time did you realize you were an atheist? Said Twisted Techno Beast. Probably when I was in college. I was done with Christianity about the age of 16 or 17, at least the restrictions. I was ready to make love to women outside of marriage. I was ready to experiment with drugs. I was ready to do, different stuff that wasn't in line with the teachings anyway. I still hung on for a little while after that and then moved on to, different spiritualisms, Unitarianism, blah 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 college ideas about the divinity within you until I finally realized this is just bunk and bullshit and crowd control. So, yeah, too smart to be a theist. Sorry. Thanks for the question, please, and again, thank you for being here. Anybody who's on YouTube, follow us on YouTube. Hit the box with the Instagram logo on it on the bio, and you can follow us on the gram and on YouTube. I'm a nice Christian though, with the sad eyes. Well, there you go. There's a toot for you, anointed Audra. We will see. Uh, thanks for the follow, Mr. Quackers Deduct. No, you can't preach, anointed Audra. I'm going back through the comments here. See if I missed anything. I was in my 40s, but better than never. Yeah, better late than never for sure. When you became an atheist, I guess I'm saying thanks to the TikTok Satanist. What's up, man? We're here every Sunday, same time, so you can plan on it if you like it. And Wednesday also at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Squeeze, what's up, youngin? My guy, Squeeze is always here for us. I love it. Real Amy Ty, thanks for the follow. Use a lot of numbers, and thanks for the presence, whoever that was who just popped up. I saw some cool shit popping up on my screen, so I love that. Tap the screen to like, and we can get this video spread to more people. Like I was saying, I got a video taken down. I got the limerick about Muhammad taking it from a donkey, taken down, and I knew when I put it up, I'm like, I started to say this before. I knew that it was going to get taken down probably sooner or later. Most of the ones, thanks for the sunglasses. I love those. When you put up a video like that, you know that some of the snowflakes are going to complain and get it taken down. But all of my other videos, some of the other limericks got taken down for sexual content and nudity because they're dirty, right? They don't, there's no nudity in them. Obviously, that would be disgusting, and I wouldn't blame them for taking it down. But there's sometimes they mention sexual acts, and so I wish I wish TikTok would tell you what it really is that violated, because I put them all back up. Some of them were excused. Some of them you file um, your appeal, right? And they'll look at it and be like, oh, it really doesn't violate it, and they'll put it back up. And a couple of them got put back up because they didn't violate. And some of them just got ignored, and I had to put them back up, and they didn't get taken down again. This one, they reviewed it in an hour. I submitted my appeal within an hour. This is all this morning. They had already ruled that it did violate their content, and so it went away for good. But yeah, TikTok's bogus with the censorship. I don't fucking understand it. Dolly Parton is my dad. Love the username. I'm a Christian, but I respect your views, as do most Christians who aren't loud and obnoxious. Yeah, unfortunately, you Christians who are like that need to be more loud and obnoxious in opposition to the sectors of your Christian community that are destroying the world. All right, I have no problem with good Christians. I just don't meet any. They're not out there. It's about identity politics. It's about hate. It's about hypocrisy. None of it is about tolerance. None of it is about love. None of it is about the supposed teachings of Jesus, who I can't attribute to Jesus. But oh, there we go. Jay Zachary already got blocked. What did he do? Didn't see it. But yeah, if you're a Christian who's a Christian left, right? They like to say, like, Christian left here, we're actually here. Yeah, well, speak the fuck up, because your religion's going to go away because the Christian right is making such an absurd mess out of it that people are sick of it. They're leaving it. They're not coming to Christianity. So I beg you, if you want Christianity to survive, then become a Christian leftist activist and stand up against the Christian right, Christian nationalism, Christian exceptionalism, Christian privilege in America, and all the other things that the ugly Christians are doing to destroy what should be, like most religions tried to start to be, uh, um, a peace loving way of morally centering yourself. I think most religions have lost touch with that. But do I support Islam? No, I don't support Islam. Islam sucks. But again, I know a lot of lovely Muslims who aren't bad people, who would agree with me that religion needs to stay out of church, out of state, out of politics, out of government, and that there's no room for fundamentalism. There's no room for jihad. There's no room for fatwa. There's no room for the ugly parts of Islam that are embarrassing the face of Islam. So when I say that, no, I don't support any religion. Give me a break. Religion needs to die and go away. It's a net negative on society. It's an emotional embarrassment. And it's dragging us all back. Imagine what we could have achieved and where we could be as a species without superstition and myth. It's sad to think about. Twisted Techno says, "I stopped being a Christian when I figured out God doesn't truly love us, and He is evil." Yeah, and we talked about that with Hyperhumanity, who I went live. If you caught that, I thought that was great. I had to cut out early. If you call an hour and a half early, it goes by so fast. We just go blabbing, blabbing, blabbing. The guy's so smart and so well read, and I had a really good time. One of my favorite dual lives I've done yet. And he comes right out and says it. He'll argue that Lucifer is not the devil. The devil really is God. If you read the Bible, the God has sanctioned everything that the devil did, and then the God of the Bible acts more like the devil than the devil does. And Lucifer is actually the light bringer, the wisdom, more like Prometheus, right? The guy who wants to enlighten humanity and bring learning and godlike attributes to the species. So, yeah, I can't disagree. Lucifer, the Lightbringer, is exactly right. Twisted Techno Beast. I can't disagree. The God of the Bible is evil, and he clearly doesn't love us. There's no there's no love there. There's no interaction whatsoever there. Hyperhumanity calls himself a deist rather than an atheist. I think his studies of philosophy have led him to believe that there's likely a creator. But to me, a creator of the universe who's moved on and doesn't have anything to do with us doesn't imply a god to me. I wouldn't even call it deism. I'd call it creatorism, I guess, because it could just be a terraforming alien who's huge on a scale that we can't imagine, and we might be the speck of dust on a flowering body of a fungus in his terrarium. And everything that we think is so huge and so incredibly big is really just a tiny, tiny atom on his terrarium. He doesn't even know we're here, and he's moved on to do something else, and now he's working on a shed in his backyard. So I don't, I don't get it. I can't agree with him that there's a creator God out there. I think there's no evidence for it. Um, who is Prometheus? Prometheus was the Greek god who Titan, really, who defied the directions and brought fire to people, right? And he got punished for it. Yeah, Lucifer the Lightbringer is more akin to that kind of um, character, but I'm not one of those guys who like understands the difference between Lucifer and every reference to him in the Bible. I learn what I learn, and I tend to remember stuff that I do hear. But there's people like Hyperhumanity who are much more well read than I am, or better able to talk about the truth of that. Thanks, Twisted Technology. All I'm speaking is truth, right? All I do is try to tell it like it is, call it like I see it. Yeah, it's mostly opinion, but when you write all the time, it's hard not to express your opinion. I'm kidding. Love you guys. Thank you all for being here. I know I'm missing some comments here because I get rambling, and that's kind of how I roll. But so God exists? No, God, in my opinion, does not exist. Thanks for asking. Um, Jesus was never jealous. New Testament. Yeah, well, the New Testament wasn't written by Jesus, so um, we don't really know that, and it wasn't written by anybody who saw Jesus or talked to him. So again, we don't really know if any of those messages came from Jesus, or Jesus is one of two things. People come out here and be like, Jesus loves you. Jesus is one of two things: either dead or never existed. Those are the only two things we can say with any certainty. It's one or the other. Everything else about Jesus is hearsay. Sin the Black Rose. Thank you for the gifts. I love you. In what ways would you consider yourself spiritual? I don't know. I mean, I have a sense of wonder at the universe. I think that there's science that we don't understand. I think our brains have capabilities that some people would call metaphysical and spiritual that simply are undiscovered yet or untapped. I think the potential of the mind is seen in those moments when we experience something like deja vu, or we feel intuition strongly and it turns out right. Uh, I meditate sometimes, just to think and to calm my mind and to relieve a headache. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Are those spiritual things? Maybe. To me, spiritualism is just such a blanket term that it really doesn't describe anything. That by prophetic wisdom, um, I love it when prophets call themselves wise. They're like making up stuff about the future, but they're so wise. Thanks, dude. The dude, this shirt's getting threadbare, man. I love it so much. The dude truly does abide. That's something that we know and we can prove by watching The Big Lebowski. At least that's got evidence. Have you seen that scientists turn light into matter? No, I have not seen that. Is that real? That's cool as hell. You may spiritual, then you believe and know Say spiritual, but then you believe in no God, having a hard time putting these things together. I don't say that I believe in no God. Are you talking to me, Mud Ruddy? Sorry, I don't really understand the question. You got to, I know it's hard when you're typing fast, but you got to try to make these things actual sentences. I'd argue that the lack of religion creates worse atrocities. Okay, you'd lose that argument, but thanks for trying. For the wages of our sin equals death, but the free gift of God is eternal life through our Lord. Thank you for um, preaching. No one cares what the Bible says here. That's the thing. And people are like, well, the Bible teaches. The Bible says no. It's what you read it out of the Bible and decided to believe it. That's on you. There's no reason in the world that anybody would think that anything in the Bible is necessarily true. There's simply all that is tradition, indoctrination, hearsay. No, life is not evidence of a God. Thanks for that deep thought. Life is evidence of life. Uh, uh, every electron in the universe is the same electron. Okay. Uh, what if you're wrong about this? Because if I'm wrong, I loose nothing. Lose is spelled Lose. Loose is spelled Loose, and that's Pascal's wager, and it's bad philosophy. If what about if you're wrong about Zeus? What if you're wrong about Odin, and you've spent all this time worshiping Jesus, and then it turns out to be that Islamic philosophy is correct, and Jesus wasn't the Son of God, and you go to hell because you bet on the wrong religion. It's inherently stupid. There's no even Pascal knew by the end of his life that he made that up as a philosophy. He's like, well, okay, if you're gonna hedge your bets like that, you have to believe in every last god. Otherwise, you might be wrong about one of them, and then you're going to hell. So you can't make somebody believe something they don't believe. Just like you can't make a gay person straight through conversion therapy. You can't make a non-believer believe something that's unbelievable. The brains aren't wired that way. So if you pretend to believe, an all-knowing God is going to know you're pretending. Yeah, if you are wrong scenario, that's awesome. My childhood was idyllic, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much for asking. I grew up in the country in New England. My parents took us to a very, you know, I guess progressive for the day, you would call it, congregational church, a mainline Protestant church that did not teach biblical literalism. Nobody ever said to me, "The devil's working in your life." And no one even talked about Satan like he was real. That nobody preached hell, fire, and brimstone, and nobody threatened me with burning forever. Nobody talked about Genesis like it. We knew evolution was real. We knew the geological age of the earth was real. These things were accepted by my church, and I grew up in a small town with 900 people. It was beautiful. We ran in the woods. We didn't worry about predators. It was gorgeous. The worst thing that happened to me was my parents got divorced finally when I was like 17 or 18. I think that affected my mindset a little bit. But yeah, my growing up, I had a good experience in church. I never experienced religious trauma. Um, yeah, New England is far more educated and progressive than the Southeast. Somebody commented that New Hampshire is the rebel of New England, and it really is. New Hampshire's full of more rednecky shit than the rest of New England. But yeah, in general, I grew up in Connecticut, where education is better than virtually every other state. It always has been. It's always in the top two or three. Period. Apple Music says the Earth is flat. Give it one up for the flat earthers. You guys are crazy as a shithouse rat. Are you the old child? Yeah, I have two. I have a younger sister. Typical Protestant family. My parents had sex 2 times, and we have 2 kids in the family. Storytelling, oldest form of entertainment. Bible fairy says, yeah, this is it. Bingo, whammo. That is it in a nutshell. The used to cavemen would sit around the campfire, and the leaders and the shamans would tell stories, because that was their nature, to lead and think and come up with ideas. And the rest of the people were like, oh, he says it with authority, it must be true, right? So all these oral traditions were at some point written down when society began to develop written language. And the Hebrew scribes were no different. When they wrote the Old Testament, they based it on earlier myths. They um, wrote down the oral traditions of their people. That's all it is, pure and simple. For anyone to think that any of that is true, those people knew it wasn't true when they wrote it. They knew it was metaphor, talking about Adam and Eve and 3 sons, and that's where we all came from. It's like, come on, man. How did 3 sons and one who died end up propagating more people? It's you have to believe the bullshit, read between the lines, land of Nod, where suddenly there was other women there for people to impregnate. It's just so dumb that anybody still thinks that Genesis is literal. that I have a hard time respecting anybody's intelligence who even promotes that in a little bit way. The sun is fake and the moon. How are you feeling heat from 72 million miles away? You need to go back to school, bud. Um, uh, yeah. It's called radiation energy. It's that's why the higher you get in the atmosphere, the less heat you feel, not the more, because you're closer to the sun, right? The heat comes to us because it's coming back from the earth. Um, After it being absorbed by the sun that's so big that you can't comprehend. I mean, you can't comprehend a round earth. So sorry, I don't know how to help you, man. I do have a question. What about the text about Jesus existing? I do have a question. What about the text about Jesus existing Babylonian Talmud? I don't know. I don't know what the Babylonian Talmud is. So sorry, if there was evidence for Jesus having existed, we'd all know about it. These are, people coming up with ideas of how they can justify their belief in someone for whom there was no contemporary records, no contemporaneous sources ever testified to Jesus existing. That's the big one for me. Maybe he did. Maybe even likely he did in some form as a ascetic preacher, wandering, leading a cult, a rabbi. But there's just too many holes in the story. Nobody could make any kind of art of him. The Gospels can't describe him physically at all, and nobody mentioned him in his lifetime. It wasn't like that people didn't have the means. The Romans kept awesome records. We know of other people in that day that were um, witnessed and written about and drawn pictures of and made sculptures of and graven images and so forth. But yeah, nothing for Jesus until 7 years later, I guess, was the earliest reference. Read Richard Carrier. You don't got to believe me. I'm not an expert. Read mythicists, and then see what you think about it. It's tradition. It's indoctrination and brainwashing is so powerful that even historians who come from that tradition typically are suffering from confirmation bias. Yeah, no, I don't. It's all shit. I don't believe that there is. And if someone has one, thank you. They can show it. They can bring it. Maybe the Tibetans write of Isa and believe it's Jesus, but Tibetans, Isa's the Arab word for Jesus. What does Tibetans have to do with it? The Adam and Eve story was the story that made me atheist. Is it as simple as 2 + 2? How could that work? It can't work. It's clearly meant to be taken as a metaphor, and if you take it that way, it's beautiful. It's poetry. It's a root myth of our culture, or of somebody's culture, not really ours, but we've adopted it. So now people talk about it like it is, when it was really a root metaphor of Hebrew culture. That's just the way it is. What's up, Randy Fitz? Good morning, pal. Uh. Aunt Lee joined. WCTX Gator. Bumble beat a drop. Bumblebee tea drop. I love it. Luke, Bible equals allegory. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's got historicity sprinkled in there, but all of that historicity has to be taken with a grain of salt. It's been edited. It's been spun. It was written from the perspective of people who were in the culture. So I mean, the history of the Hebrew nation, and judges, kings, and so forth. A lot of that can be taken as at least an attempt at literally writing down the history of a people. So there's parts of it that aren't allegory, but to take any of it as literal utter truth is to be um, a non-skeptical thinker, period, a non-critical thinker, and someone who's just a follower. If you're content in your life being a follower, then I can't I can't help you. No heat from the moon, but the moon gives you light. Literally, dude. You need to. It's funny to read those comments, but it's called albedo factor, and every body of every planet reflects light from the sun, and so we see the light. So the moon, being a satellite of Earth and a planetary body, or a body, in the solar system, reflects light from the sun, so we see the light from it. Really, it's not that hard. We again in Connecticut, we learned this crap in elementary school. I think you have to look for some of this information today because the education system has failed us so bad. But yeah, Joel Osteen. Wow, did someone bring that up? Yeah, Joel Osteen is amazing. Hey, Rewoo, didn't see you there, baby. I'm sorry if I'm missing your names as you come by here. Okay, Connecticut, educated and vaxxed. Yeah, connection. Yeah, I think so. Hello, atheist in South Dakota. What's up, my friend? Looking up something on Google is not researching. Okay. It might not be deep research, but it's certainly research. It's certainly a beginning. Um, so yeah, I get that I get what you're saying. It's like not that's not looking into it very far, but to call it not research is silly. Of course, it's research. It might just be your first step. My girlfriend found out that I'm not circumcised, and now she's calling me a push pop. What should I do? Let her push that pop, bruh. I mean, your girlfriend found out you're not. Does that mean she hasn't seen it? She just, you had to tell her. I mean, how old are you? If you have a girlfriend who hasn't like seen your penis but is making fun of it still, it's probably time for a new girlfriend, bro. Graduation, Purdue University. Who is you? That explains it. Purdue, one of the most conservative institutions on the planet, and really an embarrassment as far as I'm concerned. The people I've met who come out of Purdue, um, almost without exception, are undereducated and have a conservative leaning. Right? This is one of those colleges. If you don't want your kid exposed to liberal ideas, you send them to Purdue. Let's talk about Purdue. Fucking Indiana, man. Indiana sucks, right? Everybody else hate Indiana. What a joke. The state that keeps the South and the North. I believe in Sky Wizard. Okay, well, wizards are cool. Um, get close hangers. What's that mean? Finally, atheist TikTok. Have you been having trouble finding atheist TikTok? Some people mention that a lot, and I'm sorry I'm missing a cou- couple of comments here. Boomer, you, what's up, man? On YouTube. Here's my YouTube camera. I'm reading I have to look over here to read the comments. The fact is, human history goes back hundreds of thousands of years across most all continents. The Middle East is just not that special. No, I would argue that it's not special at all. Thanks for bringing that up. It's just that you can coincidence has led us to adopt Middle Eastern philosophy, and thanks to the Roman Empire and colonization after that. Uh, uh, I'm an atheist, but there's something always telling me reincarnation is real. What, like a voice in your head, man? What is that twisted techno beast? Look, even if God is real, I'd rather support and be tortured by the literal devil than get into heaven and support a controlling and jealous God. Yeah. Also, Lilith was Adam's first life, but a lot of Christians don't know that. It's because it's not in the Bible, really. It's been removed from the Bible, right? You have to look at the Jewish um, Apocrypha. And forgive me if I'm getting my details wrong there, but you have to look at ancient Hebrew writings to really understand Lilith and the Lilith story. So, yeah, the divine feminine and anybody who rebelled against a man or stood up to patriarchy and misogyny has been whitewashed out of the Bible. That's not surprising. Howdy from Tucson. What's up, lucid dog? Yeah, that's weird. It's hard. I mean, I always hashtag my stuff atheism, atheist TikTok, atheist underground. But if people are skipping through lives and they're probably not promoting it like to do other stuff. What's up with the ceiling? It's not my ceiling. I rent a friggin' warehouse, and I'm not going to put any time into fixing the ceiling. This is just where I work and where the computer is. So yeah, it's a piece of shit building, but it's really inexpensive. Howdy from Norway. What's up, my friend? What's going on in Norway? Winter coming? Hello from Tampa. What's up in Tampa? What's up in Florida? Scary, scary. Howdy from corrupt California. Marx Brothers. What's up, dude? Good morning from New Mexico. People tuning in from all over the globe today. A search or the flat. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Apple guy. The pita bread. A search of Jesus in Tibet and India. There is a lot of speculation, probably allegory as well. I don't know what that means. Hello from Folsom, California. You got them Folsom Prism Blues. Hello from Sydney. Hello from down under. Says Casbot. G'day. What's up from Baltimore? Baltimore? Or what's Baltimore? Is that a Baltimore? They got misspelled for you, or is that like a town? Sounds like a Scottish town. That is Balmoral. And yo, what up from Wales? What's up from Wales today? Love England, love the UK, love Scotland. I haven't really been to Wales, just kind of drove through a little bit, but I'd love to go back and go to the west of the island there. Los Angeles and Yellowknife, nice. Where does you've heard that one, right? The pita bread. Edmond, Oklahoma. Sorry, you're in Oklahoma. Virginia Beach, Melly Mel. What's up? Why does there have to? Why does there have to something? Don't know what that means. Thanks for the follow, everybody. I'm a railroad fan. I'm not really a railroad man. We live next to the railroad. My grandparents worked for the railroad. My great grandparents worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad. So it's always been in my blood. Got model railroads when I was a kid, and I've kept them. Hello from North Carolina, a place that needs more atheists. Couldn't agree more. My kids and my ex are in Charlotte, which of course is a little bit liberal, and you got some atheists there. But in general, yeah, North Carolina, a national embarrassment, just like South Carolina. Edmond, okay, all right, a lot of Balmoral is like a super expensive part of Sydney. Oh, is that where the rich people live in Sydney? South Africa, what's up in South Africa? Tulsa, Oklahoma, and yes, it's sad to be in Oklahoma. Sorry, man. Quebec, bonjour, mon ami. What's up in Quebec? More South Africans, man. You guys are awesome for being here from around the world. I watch you while my wife is in church in Ohio. Yeah, Ohio sucks almost as bad as Indiana does, doesn't it? Scary, but thanks for being here, man. That's cool. Do you tell her, or do you like as soon as the door slams, you're like, all right, I'll get that atheist TikTok. Are you hopeful about things getting better? I'm an optimist by nature, so yes, but it's pretty depressing here in the U.S., especially with what the Agent Orange was able to do with the Supreme Court, stacking it with Christian conservatives and Catholic fuckwits and beer boy drinky fucks and beady eyed pinhead Amy Homely Barrett people. It's going to affect us for generations. But I think that it's the downward curve of religion is obvious. Religiosity is in the way out. I put my faith in younger people because they don't give a shit. They understand. Boston, what's up, Boston? I'm going to be in Boston in November for the FFRF convention, my friend. Maybe I'll see you there. Kenny Lone says, "How you from Boston?" In Massachusetts too. Holly Hobby, what's up? Can Winnipeg get a toot toot? Of course, Winnipeg. Love our Canadian friends. Are you Brian Laundry? No, don't know who that is. Hello from PA. Nothing like not going to church on Sunday. There is nothing like not going to church on Sunday. Slept in a little bit this morning. It rained on my roof. That was awfully calming and cozy and peaceful. My dad passed a month ago. As soon as he went in the ground, my aunt proceeded to try to convert me. Wow, really sorry, Darth Lynch. Uh, Here's one for your dad, man. Rest in peace, Dad. And your aunt, like his sister, was he not religious? And now his sister's like trying to convert you. It's like, people take advantage of that kind of shit. It's just disgusting and morbid and creepy, isn't it? Hey guys, sorry I have to hop off diarrhea again. Say your name, my name. All right, man. See you later. Thanks for sharing. Muni, hi. I'm looking over at my messages on YouTube. I appreciate you guys for being here on YouTube and hang in there. If you got a message for me, put it up there and I'll remember to look over it once in a while. Hey, from Montana. My dad's in Montana. Solid agnostic. Calls himself a Christian. I don't know why. We were Protestants growing up, and he bought into the whole scheme. I think to keep my mom shut up. But as I get older, he doesn't pay any mind to it at all. I think he just calls himself a Christian, like Jews call themselves Jews when they're just cultural Jews and they don't believe in God much anymore. But Southern Arkansas, I'm so sorry. These are facts. Here you go, man. Hopefully it gets better in Arkansas for you soon. What a shithole, man. This is too bad because the beautiful states. The Ozarks, gorgeous part of the country. Um, you live in a railroad town from the 1800s in SoCal. That's nice, man. Out of curiosity, no disrespect or saying you should believe, but do you think there is nothing at all? Um, I think there's nothing at all, but the universe, and we don't have all the answers to the universe, and I'm okay with that. Nothing, the God, there might be a God. I'm not that atheist who's like, I know there's no God. None of us really know to that extent. Although some people say that they do know, and that's cool too. But it's the least plausible solution. We have all these questions, and you follow the evidence to the answers, and that's what science does, and that's what they're working on now. Is what happened at the Big Bang, or to say before is not even right because there was no time. Space time as we know it was created, milliseconds, literally milliseconds after. It's 10 to the negative 43rd seconds after the Big Bang happened is when they can start measuring space time, and the math breaks when you go before that. So we don't know multiverse. We don't know what phase really is a better way of talking about it. What it was some kind of phase change that will probably end up explaining the nature of the singularity. But at this point, no, there's no evidence to believe other than the gaps, right? Oh, we don't know what it is, so it must be a God. The only solution is God. It's just, if you want to cop out like that intellectually, that's on you, bruh. But I can't do it. Um, I would love to rest in peace. Yeah, how about it? C&E Catholics, Lucy Dogs. What's that? Christian and Christian Christmas and Easter Catholics. Yeah, that's I don't know. I suppose I went through a minute where it was like that, but no. So what do you believe then? Why do I have to believe anything? I believe what there's evidence for. I believe that the experts in the field work hard at doing their job, and I believe that the peer review process in general works and weeds out bad research. And feel like the whole faith in takes faith to be an atheist thing came up hard this week in my comments. And one guy just going and going and going. Like, Jesus, don't these people have jobs, man? I don't know how you argue with somebody for days on TikTok over the same bullshit, but the whole, yes, we have faith in certain things. I have faith that people are generally good, not evil. Not everybody, but in general, people are, if you give them a chance, their better natures will come out. I have faith that the 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 evidence that has been, um, the facts that have been determined by following the evidence is true because those people work hard at it. They're not trying to fool us. I have faith that the sun's going to come up for the next 4.8 billion years. That's just semantics. That's different than it takes faith to be an atheist. No, it doesn't. But yeah, I believe a lot of things. I believe that most people aren't intellectually capable of letting go of the God myth. I believe that most people are indoctrinated to the point where they can't even imagine. I mean, what are we talking about? I believe a lot of things. I believe this shirt is faded black and has got holes in it because I can see them. It's such a condescending question. Is it? Thank you. Also, I'm too cool for this. You are, man. There you go. Yeah, but you must believe in something. You have to believe in something. That's why people hate atheists so much, because at least Muslims and Hindus and Buddhists believe in something, right? Even if we take Buddhism as an atheistic religion, which yeah, it kind of is, but there's still supernatural elements to it that have no evidence to support them. But the people who practice it have a belief system, and that is more comforting to a Christian than someone who has no belief system. That shakes their world. That brings their cognitus bubbling to the surface, and they don't want that. They don't want the facts in their face to deny their preconceived belief system. So they have to beat it down some way, and that's one of the ways they do it, and by telling you that you're the same as them. You have a faith system, atheism is a religion, all this bullshit, and you have to believe in something. You just you don't care what it is. You have to believe in something because that makes them feel better about their dumbass minds. Who's the dude on my shirt? It's Jeff Bridges um, from The Big Lebowski. You've never seen The Big Lebowski? Shame on you. Go rent it today and watch it. Thanks, Cabbage Roll Jim. I did not see what he said. You got muted. Bye. Oh my God, he put Bible verses up. Aphasia. Yeah, the Bible talked about people mocking it. They knew people would mock it. Yeah, that's because the people who wrote it knew that it was mockable. It was for followers, right? These things are invented to give comfort to people who are simple minded, and leaders in society don't don't believe it, or they make it up themselves, or they go a different way. But a certain amount of people are wired to be leaders, and it's much less of us are wired to be leaders than people who are wired to be followers. My mom is a prime example. Didn't matter who her pastor was. It could be a guy with a completely different philosophy. If we changed pastors at the church and the new pastor had different ideas and he said it to her with authority, she would change her beliefs because that's what Pastor so and so says now, and Pastor Dick in the ass before him didn't said something else, and that's out the window now because she has a new authority figure in her life, and she's always deferring to men and men's ideas. Like somehow men are more intelligent or ready to be leaders than women, which is absurd on its face, and really a product of men being physically bigger and beating women into it over the centuries and working on keeping women out of education and work on setting up these liturgies themselves, these belief systems themselves. Thoughts on Islam? Islam needs to go away. Yeah, people haven't seen The Big Lebowski. I find The older we get, and it's an old movie now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, people haven't, but it's a shame. Everybody should see the Big Lebowski. Coen brothers are fucking geniuses. I honestly, I don't know who doesn't get those guys. All of their movies are fucking great. Yeah, of course he was quoting verses. It's all they have. Craziest argument from a Christian the other day saying you can't have morals without God. Well, that's demonstrably false. You know, it's hard to have morals with the Abrahamic God, quite honestly. Uh, uh, uh. Hold up. I believe in science with the understanding that science is ever changing. Well, that's the thing. If science, comes up with evidence that changes what it assumed earlier, then it changes. Just join an SGI. What's an SGI meeting? FFM, FF Mountain Laurel. Um, Love Mountain Laurel. I'm from Connecticut. We have the Mountain Laurel Museum there, I think. Can Christianity be anything other than what you already think it is? Christianity apparently can be anything that anybody who claims to be a Christian wants it to be. That's why there's 50,000 different versions of it. I have to be a closet atheist as a third grade teacher because people see atheists as evil and immoral. Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, the public school is no place for religion of any kind. But if teachers are Christian nationalists, especially, they will proselytize to your kids. I fought this in the school system here and won, and it made me realize that I needed to be an atheist activist for the rest of my life because the people like that will proselytize to your kids if you're not looking. Why would you push against people's belief in a faith, sir? Because their belief leads them to poor decisions. It leads them to vote in ways that take the rights away from the rest of us. And it's a lack of critical thinking skills is a net negative on society. That's why I would push against it. Personally, I don't push against anybody's. I don't proselytize atheism to anybody. I don't try to get people to quit their religion. I try to create awareness of atheists' plight in society. I try to create content and a safe space for atheists because there are none, because the people that you're talking about, the people who have faith, band together to discriminate against the rest of us. So I work for a sea change in society where education comes up and less people rely on religion. But personally, I don't give a fuck what you believe. You can believe any kind of bullshit you want to get you to sleep at night, man. It makes no difference to me. Business world too. I got asked if I went to church all the time. Sadly, I was honest and lost money. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I know that I've lost clients and doing what I do because I've been bold about coming out. But it's worth it to me, honestly. I just don't care. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Christian nationalism. I'm tired of fucking evangelicals trying to convert people and shoving their fucking belief system on the government and making sure that they elect unthinking morons. This Marjorie Taylor Greene idiot. What a fucking worldwide embarrassment. This is the United States of America. We got someone like that in Congress. Are you kidding me? It makes me fucking puke in my mouth a little bit. I love how various my lives are. How many lives have you had? I think you mean your lives that you watch. I don't know. Why do you too too hot too HY do you believe, son? Not sure what that means. It's funny how Lucifer actually has nothing to do with Christianity. I started watching Lucifer because people were like, "Hey, have you watched Lucifer?" Um, and it's not that great. It had some stuff in it, but it's just a network show, man. Network shows frustrate the shit out of me. Uh, uh, uh. Twisted Techno took a message back. What did you say? Have faith the sun will rise every morning until it doesn't. Yeah, well, they know how much longer it'll last. So, we can have faith that they're probably right about that. They can pretty well measure what's going to happen with stars, and we got about 4.5 billion years left. So, I don't plan on being around for when it goes supernova. Um, no hate on LGBTQ. They are amazing people. But how can a gay person support a guy who hates them? I don't know. I bring that up all the time. Thank you, Twisted Techno Beast. And again, it's their indoctrination. They were raised Christian. They want to believe that Jesus loves them, and so they want to respin their own religion and be good Christians. They can't remove themselves from that indoctrination any more than they can change their gayness. That's the only way I can explain it. But yeah, I get the same thing in my head. I'm like, why would any gay person want to be a Christian? Christianity and the Bible are anti-gay. Period. I don't know why they bother. What about the Muslims? They mostly suck. But again, I say that because I'm a snarky bastard, and Islam needs to go away. But I know lovely Muslims who are good people trying to raise their families, trying to get along, and they were indoctrinated into Islam, and so they have a basic belief system that agrees with the basic tenets of Islam, and they're not fundamentalists, and they're not terrorists, and they're not trying to convert people, and they're not trying to shove Islam down the throat of the American government. So I love Muslims. I hate Islam. There, I guess that's the best way to say it. I left Christianity and I'm a pansexual now, and I'm happy. Of course, you're happier. Who wouldn't be happier? Pansexuality. That sounds awesome. I toyed with Sufism, but it went downhill fast. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I just for a while I monkeyed around with some spiritual ideas, but then in the end, it's just like, what? Come on, what am I doing here? Uh, Hello from Northern Virginia. What's up in Northern Virginia, my friend? Thanks for the likes, Joy. Uh, you think there will be humans here when the sun goes supernova? I don't know. I doubt it. We were trying awful hard to kill off life on the planet, so who knows? Do you believe in a higher consciousness at all, or do you believe our souls are just worm food? No, there's no higher consciousness. It's silly to think that because we know how memories are formed. We know how information is recorded in the brain. We know how the brain does that. So in order for consciousness or a spirit or a soul to exist, there has to be some kind of way for an immaterial object to have transferred to it the material learning that your brain has, because this has been shown, you know what I mean? So how does the soul retain that knowledge if there's no physical brain in it to do so? The idea is silly and romantic, and I get it that it's comforting. But yeah, the only thing that can be said is that our energy is conserved, but that doesn't speak to a spirit or a soul. That just means that your molecules are going to dissolve and uh, and return to the universe. And so in that way, that's energy too. You know what I mean? Your personality is, unless they can upload it at some point to AI, is pretty is pretty silly thinking. Yeah, Islam is very similar to other Abrahamic ideas because it's based on them. If you read, I'm reading the Quran now, and it's literally just him rehashing the Torah so far, and Christian philosophy. He was very um, knowledgeable of the teachings of Judaism and Christianity because it was all around him, and it came first. So he just took that and basically said, "Look, you assholes aren't doing it right, and you've forgotten about your own book, and you're sinful and crappy, and you need to do it this way. And besides, I want to have 10 wives, and I want this to be the law, and I want um, you know." I want to recreate society in my image. So it's pretty incredibly derivative, rambling, um, threatening, bad. It's just bad. There's nothing in it so far that anybody would think came from an all-powerful God that he left for everybody. And anybody who thinks it is just again indoctrinated to believe that. And I get some really, really nice Muslims who somebody came on the YouTube at the end of the last show and is like, it's just like, no, the context is, oh, you have to understand. You have to understand. We don't think Muhammad is a prophet just because he said he was a prophet. That would be stupid. We can verify the things he said, and he said things that he couldn't have said. Do you hear yourself? If he said it, it's because he knew it, not because somebody like whispered in his ear. Did you verify the night trip to heaven and back in one night, and Jerusalem too thrown in for good measure? No. Muhammad talks about Adam as though he were a real person all the time. He references Adam and Noah as though they were real all the time, and we know that Adam never existed. We know the Garden of Eden is a metaphor, whether you want to believe it or not. We know that shit has been debunked. You can argue God all you want, and there's not much anybody can really say. But to argue that Genesis is literal and that Adam and Eve really existed is stupidity, plain and simple. And so here's Muhammad talking about it over and over and over, like when Adam, God said this to Adam, and God said this to Noah. And remember when Adam did this? It's like, no, right there, you've disqualified your text from being taken seriously in any other way. And people are like, oh, scientific miracles. They do stuff that you couldn't have known, and bullshit. It's all bullshit. How do we know Adam never existed? Because we know the earth is 4.8 billion years old. And we know that humans evolved over billions of years in a different way than two people being placed here and formed out of mud. I mean, what did you not go to school? This is not rocket science. We understand that the Garden of Eden did not exist and that there was no first people 6,745 years ago in 38 seconds. That's just religious mythology. If you're so steeped in it that you can't get out of it, then I'm sorry for you. You're probably in the wrong place here. Uh, yes, none of that doesn't mean there's not a higher power. Exactly. That's why most of us are agnostic atheists. We can't say for certain. We just going by the evidence and going by what people know and what people learn all the time. It's the least plausible. Lawrence Krauss likes to say it's the least plausible explanation. There's 1,000 explanations or more for the beginnings of the Big Bang and for the origins of the universe, and none of them are led to God by the evidence. None of them. So it's the least plausible. So yes, of course it's possible. It's also possible that there's a pink dinosaur on the other side of Jupiter that we can't see because it's always hiding behind Jupiter. And when it sees the satellite coming, it goes and it's just like playing like you run around a tree and you can't catch me. That's also possible. It's just exceedingly unlikely. Nothing you said means there was no Adam. Okay, buddy. There is a creator of all, and it's comical to think anyone of us can grasp it. There is, well, you seem to grasp it. You're telling us that you grasp that there's a creator of all. Um, so what's not to grasp? You've grasped it yourself. It's a straw that you're grasping at. There's no evidence for that. It's just a feeling you have, and you know what people have told you. Other than that, you can't point to one thing that's actual evidence. The Romans labeled Christians as atheists for not being polytheistic. That's the other thing. I love that when people are like, "Yeah, we're all every religion is atheistic when it comes to the other religions. We just believe in one less God than you. But you're an atheist when it comes to Zeus. If you're a Christian, you're an atheist when it comes to Odin. You're an atheist when it comes to Pele. You're an atheist when it comes to, the Zoroastrian idea. It's just it's insanity. There has to be something big out there than you and me, sir. Does there? There doesn't have to be. There might be, but there doesn't have to be. That's just, again, it's you and your wishful thinking. You can't get your head around the universe. You can't get your head around the size of and the time involved, and so you think that there must be something bigger. There is something bigger. You know, it might be an asteroid that kills us tomorrow. There's lots of things bigger than us. None of that speaks to an omnipotent, omnibenevolent God. Of course in miracles calls this a mad crazy dream. Yeah, I mean, miracles. I think, was it Cicero who said that miracles, there are no miracles because a miracle is something that shouldn't be able to happen when it does happen. But once it happens because it could happen. So it's not a miracle. It's a simple paradox. There are no miracles. And singing again about the miracle of birth, right? Who comes to you with the whole miracle of birth thing, right? It's like, how can you see a newborn baby and not because it's the most common happening on the planet along with death. Being born and dying are the most common things that happen. So how is that a miracle when every cockroach, every species, every organism on the planet is able to reproduce? How is the birth of a child a miracle? Yeah, there is something bigger. The universe is bigger than us. Yeah, Jupiter is really huge. Uh, uh, good to see you. Good to see you again. Secret of the sauce. Thanks for being here. I'm scrolling back again. And as soon as you do that, it stops scrolling down. So then I get behind. Um, so I apologize if I'm missing your comments or your questions, or you're joining and you want to toot out, then keep at it, and hopefully I can get to you. Oh, here we go. We got some more stuff. No hate on the LGBT. I love your hat. Where did you get it? I got it off of Amazon. Honestly, I didn't know where else to get one. And it's really good. It's comfortable, all cotton, one size fits all. Got a nice stretchy band in the back. So yeah, thanks, Twisted Techno. That's where I got it. Religion has been such a waste of time and brain power. I agree completely. The advancements we could have had. Dina Ribodo, thanks for being here on YouTube. Uh, uh, uh. Did you like that? Yeah, it's a straw that you're grasping at. Of course it is. I can't grasp it. God in the Bible has wiped us out several times. So if the Bible was real, we would all be incest. Also true, Dina. Yeah, well, that's the other part. It wasn't just that we descended from Adam. He wiped us all out, and now we have to be descended from Noah, right? And and his three sons, right? And whatever went on with the daughters, right? Didn't Noah get drunk and shag his daughters-in-law or something at some point? I don't know. I'm not a Christian, but believe in it all. But I love listening to people like you. You believe in it all? What's that? I believe everything. Just tell it to me. I believe it. Do you ever have an existential crisis? No, I don't want to die, and I get depressed about getting older and thinking about that. But no, I don't think I really have an existential crisis. Thank you, Cashbot. I really appreciate you being here from down under. 2 in the morning, top of the morning from Houston. Everyone, what's up in Houston? Big town, Houston. Hope you got some liberal people there in Texas, because Texas is just as fucking backwards as it gets. All you gotta do is take your 6-shooter down to Texas and across, and you can fit right in with them rednecks down there in Texas. What a fucking embarrassment, Greg Abbott. If I saw Greg Abbott, I'd punch him in his fucking throat. I'm not. Thanks for the follow, the happy father. Thanks for the sunglasses. Yo, yo, yo. Uh, Yeah, if birth is a miracle, why aren't other animals allowed in heaven? Yeah, that's true. The idea that humans are special and animals aren't is an idea from antiquity and stems from religion. It's obvious that we would have thought that because we were so dominant as a species, but clearly, it didn't take a lot of genius scientists to figure out that we're just another species. We're just another animal on the planet. There's nothing different about us except our intellect, our highly evolved brains that can conceive of these things, that can conceive of a God, that can conceive of heaven, that can conceive of a soul. That's the only difference between us and the animals. There's literally nothing else. There's no inherent purpose to our life. You have to give your life purpose. Um, you're talking about Adam and Eve and Noah. You must believe in something. You're having trouble with this, Matt? What's up? Like, we're talking about Adam and Eve and Noah because those are the biblical touchstones that we all grew up with, as those are the mythological figures that people who are trying to promote new earth creationism or young earth creationism point to. We're talking about them because they're real concepts in society. How does that equate to me believing? People are I'm not even going to go there. Yeah, the brain is not your spirit. You don't have a spirit. Your brain's made up your spirit. Hello, happy Sunday, newbie. You're a newbie? Ooh. Juan Hayes 58, a virgin on the atheist underground. If you got to sacrifice something, much better if it's an animal. What? Who's your friend, Maya? Thanks for being here, girl. What's up? Who's your friend? Your brain will lock you out of your spirit. I think you're high, buddy. Do you think lots of good stuff we can work on? Oh, your bestie Carter? What? Which one? What did she say? Was I making fun of her? Because your spirit is dead? uh, some people say that if you talk about God, that means you believe. Yeah, well, that's stupid. I mean, if nobody had made up God, we wouldn't need to talk about it. I love religion is fun to look at and talk about. That's none of that means that you think it's real. Those are ontological arguments, right? If you can conceive it, that means it has to be real somewhere. Really bad. Thanks, 2x2 Dad. Bye. Sorry, wrong whistle. No preaching on the train. You're an idiot. Goodbye. I talk about unicorns. Yeah, I talk about griffins. Where my high school mascot was a griffin, right? I don't believe griffins are true just because we talked about griffins every time we had a sports game. Please, what is that about? I hear that a lot, and I'm just like, "What's up, Anna Breaks for Fraggles? How you doing, my girl? When did you know you were an atheist?" No, it just evolved over college. I was done with Christianity by the time I was 16, 17, and evolved out of all religious thought over the next few years. It wasn't any moment for me, really. I don't understand how people say there is only one true God when there are 4,000 other gods, because they've been indoctrinated. They've had their head beat in with it since they were little. They don't have any mental capacity to get beyond that. Hi, Carter. I don't mean to rag on you. Thank you. What's her handle, Maya? I don't. Which one is she? The dude does abide. Greetings from Ottawa. A lot of Canadians with us. What's up in the capital, my friend? What did I get my degree in? I got my degree in theater. That's why I'm just a talking head and a theater communications. That's what I do, my friend. It has taken me years. I keep going back in weak moments. Yeah, and that's the issue. I mean, that's how they get you. They know psychologically, especially. Oh, Carter Bitten. I'm bestie Carter. What's up, Carter Bitten? Um, I didn't know. Is that your last name? Proud atheist here from the UK. Who's not an Anglophile? I think everyone in America really loves the UK, don't you? I mean, not everyone, but I think that's really common. Spent some time there myself. Really miss it. I miss old Blighty. Blame Dan. Blame Dan. Okay. Jesus saves in a Roth IRA. I was thinking about starting a video series called Jesus Saves, and where he's clipping coupons. And he's like sitting in a chair clipping coupons, and we call the show Jesus Saves, and he shows you how to like go to the grocery store and only pay like $15 for your whole cart. I found you through Captain Dadpool. Atheists Unite. Captain Dadpool, the king of atheist creators on the talk. Yeah, do it, man. Save your money and go visit UK. London's fucking great. It's expensive, but what a great place. And the whole, I mean, everywhere I went in the UK was fascinating. I absolutely loved it. And I feel connected. I'm at least partly English by descent. When I'm going through tough times, I often wish I could believe in some God. Yeah, I mean, and all of us who were indoctrinated have that in the back of our mind still. We like Abraham Lincoln said, sometimes he dropped to his knees because he didn't know where else to go. I mean, if you were brought up in that tradition, it's even for someone like me, it's really hard not to catch yourself doing things that reflect the fact that you were brought up in that tradition. And so I get it completely. You want to, it's comforting. You want it to be able to be true. I get that, and that's why it succeeds and survives. But some of us are just too logical. We're just too attached to critical thinking and reason. And I always am like, Jesus, what do you think? What are you thinking about? It's just idiocy. They do get comfort from it. They get so much comfort from it, and you can't take that comfort away from them. That's why people are like, should religion be abolished? I'm like, I'm not sure how you could do that, but no, I don't think religion should be abolished, and people who need it should be able to have it. I think we just need to educate society so that less people need it as we go, and I think we see that happening. The internet's taken us a long way to getting us there, and uh, if except for the education system, I think human beings are getting more smarter. I think we see that reflected in the youth of today. Millennials and Gen X and Gen Zers are less attached to religion because they get life is not the way we thought it was when we grew up. And everybody has an LGBTQ friend, everybody has a transgender friend, and nobody wants to be told that they're going to hell because they smoke weed. I mean, life changes and societies evolve, and sooner or later organized religion will go away. There'll always be people who need those comfort myths, and they're there for them. So yeah, people need the comfort. Most people are sheep. Most people are not really capable of breaking out of the indoctrination that they were forced into, and that's where the issue comes in for me. If we stop indoctrinating people, religion will die away faster. And again, it should always be there for the guy who needs it. If you're a drug addict and you find Jesus and it's helped you be not a drug addict and get a job and live a better, cleaner, more healthy life, then who am I to take that away from you? That's not what we're about. We're about creating space for atheists and making it okay to be an atheist in society without getting shit on, and trying to ensure that organized religion keeps on, petering away, so that we can start advancing as a society. Imagine what we could do. Imagine where we could travel, what we could see, what we could know, what we could heal, how long we'd all live if it wasn't for, um, basically religious traditions and concerns. Somebody asked how I felt about Christopher Hitchens. Sorry for missing some of that stuff. But I loved Hitchens. Hitchens was great, and Hitchens's idea about our right. It's our right to ridicule religion, and it's a necessary advancement tool for society. Rebelling against authority is the last thing we have as human beings, and rebelling against the God authority is really the ultimate authority, and that's what it is. If the human mind is going to be free, we need to get rid of religion, and Hitch is sorely missed. My favorite way to smoke weed is through a bong. Thank you for asking. But I don't mind. I don't mind vaping. Not with a vaporizer. Not a. I mean, I'm all right with vape pens and stuff. But the machines that'll vaporize your actual flower. That's a good way to get off. But uh, Thank you for asking. What's my favorite way to smoke weed? Um, but yeah, that's your weed goes further with a bong or with a vaporizer than it does, smoking joints and harsh ass pipes on your throat and stuff. Um, have survived 14 Armageddons, 3 end times, the end of the Olmec calendar, dozens of shooting stars, and Y2K. Yeah, humans, yeah. Um, if you have to choose a belief or God, it's energy. We can see it, feel it, taste it, transfer it, harness it. A belief of God, it's energy, I suppose. You could make that argument. It's sounds like philosophy, but that's okay. Um, yeah, Jesus saves my. It would be funny, right? You're talking about my Jesus saves thing. So thank you guys for being here on YouTube. I appreciate you all. And sorry, I can't pay a little more attention to YouTube. It rolls so fast on the talk. And thank you all for being here. I feel like maybe my shadow banning is over, and that's why I didn't want to jeopardize that with posting the limerick. And I knew it when I posted the limerick. And if I get to finishing that story ever that I talked about in the beginning, I got the limerick taken down about Muhammad getting mounted by his donkey. Um, but in the end, you got to be you, don't you? And the limericks, then they're never as popular as some of my other videos, but they crack the fucking shit up out of me. And so, uh, if I think it's funny, I'm liable to do it. And I don't really give a shit. So I decided to go ahead and post it, knowing that it would probably get taken down. And what's up? It's a sandwich new account. Is that you? Tax the churches? What happened? Did you get your account banned? Where did you go? I've been missing your face on my feed, and I was wondering what happened. It might be just because I don't watch very much. But I feel like a few people sort of went away for a minute. So good for you if you're back. Love your stuff. Love your take on it. Love all the XJ dubs that we could get. We need them out there. Yeah, Bohemian Lucy Limerick. You know what limericks are, right? There once was a man from Nantucket. I do anti-religious limericks on my page. You need to scroll down my page. If maybe people only do lives on TikTok. Do a lot of people only really watch lives on TikTok? If you scroll down my page, there's 8 limericks. I posted 9, and the last one got taken down. The 8 limericks that are dirty, anti-religious limericks. They all crack me up. Some are more popular than. Oh, one of them was hugely popular, and some of them have been taken down, and I had to re-put them up again. Re-put them up. Listen to me. I had to put them up again, and the second time up, they're not as popular. But I love it. I love the bit. I love limericks. I make them up all the time, so I just figured it would be a funny thing uh, to to do was post dirty anti-religious limericks. And of course, the snowflakes, right, they get really offended. They're like, they mass report them, or they report them for nudity, which of course there's not. Nobody wants to see any nudity here except the old head. And but yeah, some of them do have sexual content, but a couple of the ones that stayed up and never got reported or never got taken down have just as dirty content as the ones that did get taken down. So I don't fucking know how. TikTok's just such a piece of shit when it comes to that stuff. They're so poorly. The violations that you do contravene are not spelled out for you, so you have to guess what part of your video was offensive. They should at least be able to tell you. You can't say the word cock on a video, it's going to get taken down, or whatever, whatever it is, then maybe I would adjust, but I doubt I'm going to stop posting the limericks. I feel like they don't get promoted, especially if the algorithm senses there's a word in there, because they don't get as many views as the other videos of mine. But I love them, and I'll probably keep doing them. If you have ideas for limericks, you want to help me with limericks, just hit me up, and you could probably do that. But I'm crazy for limericks, and we're the last couple of weeks with a few very popular vids and these lives getting a little bit more popular. My follower count has gone back up now. I was stuck on like 70,000 for so long because I really felt like nobody was seeing me on their FYP. And some followers have said that. It's like, you're not showing up on my FYP. I don't see you anymore like that. And I think it's just, TikTok stops promoting you once you get to a certain amount of violations, and that's just what happens. And I have a feeling that that's an algorithm that probably is timed. And after, if you go without some violations for some weeks, which I did, you can get unshadow banned. And all of a sudden, boom, I got like, I'm almost at 80,000 now. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you so much, and I love doing this. So, I didn't want to jeopardize it with a limerick, but then again, I'm like, some of my people really love the limericks, and I love them, so I went ahead and did it. And now, they took it down, and I got a violation. I can't post until Tuesday because of it, which is not really much. I don't post, but every few days anyway. So that's not a big deal. But I feel like it sets you back in that that algorithm, and now, maybe. But thank you for saying. Indeterminate Solution says, just joined the live from my FYP. Cool, that's good. And there's a lot of people on today, and more than usual. Um, so I appreciate all of you. Mr. Joe Garcia, thanks for the likes. Logical Warrior, thanks for the follow. I know I have to think twice before I post stuff anymore, right? That's just, it's sad. It's too bad that we have to do that, and it's too bad that TikTok it's like too popular to quit. What are you going to do? Go to a new platform and have nobody listening to you? So, for me, if I can walk the line, uh, and stay with this account growing, like some of the other great atheist creators have, then I'll keep it going. Yeah, TT don't like anyone who's different. Yeah, I get it. And if you get back to 1,000 followers, tax the churches. Go follow her. If you haven't yet, are you regaining a following? Um, the offer still stands to do a dual live. I would love to do a dual live with you. If you didn't answer me before, but I get it. I'm not. Everybody's busy. But yeah, I'd be happy to do that to you if you can let's get her back to 1,000 followers if she isn't already. Thanks, tax the churches. Um, great content creator, and just so important to have people who came out of religion to speak out, especially cults like J-Dubs and the Mormonians. I think we are all stuck on the couch guy TikTok. Who's that? Someone was calling himself a couch guy, someone who was watching the live today. Good, yeah, well, hit me up, DM me, and we can do that anytime. I love doing the dual lives. They're really fun. And honestly, I love you. I used to hang out in atheist internet relay chat. That's cool. I don't know. I was never a chat room guy. The internet came along, and remember when it was chat rooms? And that was like the thing. You're old enough to remember. The internet's getting so old now that like the kids don't even know what that shit was. But I never was into that. Honestly, didn't even find. Started Twitter before I started Facebook. You need to get on Clapper. I downloaded Clapper, and when I was in the middle of this really bad shadow banning, and it looked like I was getting videos taken down every day, people were like, start Clapper, and I'm like, I got on Clapper, and I was reading Clapper, and it's like, well, we want real people doing their real hobbies, and we don't censor, but we don't like skits as much. This is really what they said when you're going through. So I never got to the point where I actually set up my account to do stuff, but I might. Winter's coming for me, and that frees up time for me. I think I am still a universal life minister now that I think about it. What's that mean? Uh, yeah, I'm talking about Bohemian Lucy. I remember chat rooms from the early 2000s. Yeah, that was, and even before that, I think it was the first internet outlet for social interaction. Anything you want? I had a friend who registered herself at the courthouse and had a side job performing weddings. That's cool. Do you love Clapper? Thanks, Jonathan Calfold. Is it good? Like I said, I'm sure I'll get around to doing it because I did download the app and look at it. What sort of work do I do? I'm in landscape right now. Actually, I want to switch careers. It's not turning me on like it used to, and it's no way to get rich. I can promise you that. And boom, you are a minister. Yeah, no, you can do that with being a dude. I can be a dudist priest too. They have that, and I think that probably qualifies you, right, to marry people. Maybe not, but there's a lot of ways to do that. To be a secular officiant, a celebrant, right, a humanist celebrant. There are ways to do that, and we need more of that in society for funerals, especially. Marriages are cool. But you can always go to the courthouse and get married in a secular way. But funerals are an issue for people who are secular and want to keep it that way. I had people in chat say dirty things to me. I was 12, 15. Yeah, that happens, especially when you're a young lady. That's a sad, sad reality of life. I was never that guy who watches porn. You guys like porn on and it sounds like bullshit because people feel like everybody watches porn and porn drives the internet. And I think that's probably true. But porn doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I've seen some porn, obviously, and it's fun for a minute, but it's like after 5 minutes, it's like you've pretty much seen it all, haven't you? I'm too into good movies to watch a lot of porn. So none of that crap, I don't know. I feel like that's for someone else. I don't watch it. I make it nice. Big money. big money for the women in porn. I don't know if Kyle's making money at porn. He says he is. And it's where you get the tongue, right? The tongue and the dollar sign emoji. Uh, I rarely watch it. I'm Ace. What's that mean, Ace? It doesn't do much for you either. I think women. I think porn doesn't do a lot for a lot of women, but I think men are really like, especially men who aren't having sex. I don't know how else to say that delicately. I think it's for, and I read some really interesting stuff about how it's really ruining men's ability to interact in society and deal with women IRL, right? Because porn uh, doesn't it teaches you different things about the way that you can find sex, right? And if you have no real life experience on simply how to talk to people in a interesting, educated, romantic way, you're not going to learn that from porn. And then you go out expecting, women to be like the porn stars that you watch, and you end up falling flat on your face or getting in trouble because you don't know how to act with people. And it's a real danger in society. And I had to agree. I can't remember. I wish I could remember where I read this. It was a really interesting article um, on Reddit. A guy talking about how porn is really the ubiquity of porn is really really destructive to social skills. Oh, Ace is asexual, is it? Okay, I didn't know what that is. Um, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. But you do you. Uh, yeah. I love dating with foreign women. Yeah, who doesn't, man? American women are like just as messed up as all Americans. It's yeah, foreign women. Every time I've ever gone to a different country, the women are fucking fabulous. I absolutely love it. The Puritan ethic in America has really affected people. Our Puritan base here has absolutely affected how people view sexuality in America, and most countries don't have to deal with that problem. Here in America, we demonize sex while we glorify violence, and to me, it's one of the greatest shames of our society here. It's absolutely backwards, stupid, unloving, ridiculous, bigoted in its own way because it makes people hate LGBT folk who are just trying to love who they love. It's to me, how are you going to stop someone from loving the best way that they can love? That's hating love. But let's go shoot some guns and kill some people. Somebody linked me to a video where the guy said that like most mass shooters have been shown to be atheists. Of course, he couldn't quote a study, and he had a lot of he had a lot of followers. He was a guy with like a couple of million likes and 90,000 followers, and he's like, oh, just saying, just saying. Most mass shooters have actually turned out to be atheists. I'm like, is that true? I don't feel like that's true. But of course, he couldn't back it up with anything. It was just shit talk. Um, a recent crossover to atheism. Well, welcome, my friend, Ropanus. Uh, Americans are open book. It's the mystery that's interesting. Yeah, there's that. Absolutely. Love the chase, don't they? Who doesn't love the chase? Ah, a lifetime dedicated to the chase. Huh? The great uh, Louis Jourdain talking about Maurice Chevalier in Gigi, which is a creepy film. I don't mean to promote Gigi. Right? Really about a 45-year-old man who makes off with a 17-year-old, and people are just like, oh, he found the love of his life. I'm like, this is statutory and creepy and wrong. But that's again, if you don't think society evolves, then just look at the old movies. That's an example right there. That was absolutely looked at as perfectly normal and beautiful for this. And today we'd be like, that's a creep and a fucking statutory rapist. Um, or jaded from men who read 50 Shades. Can I tell you? Can I tie you up? Um, if you're a man who's read 50 Shades of Grey, somebody should come and beat you with a stick. These books and these movies have been roundly criticized for being subpar. It's just not good art. I know women love 50 Shades of Grey, and maybe the book's not that bad. I don't know. The movies were so poorly reviewed that I'll never even watch them. I don't have time for movies that every critic says is a living piece of shit. And the people who have come to me that talk about 50 Shades of Grey like it was a fucking revelation, really? You need to have your head checked if you're spending any time watching the 50 Shades movies. Every time you hear they aren't real Christians, take a drink. Yeah, that'll get you fucked up right away, boy. We've had that too. A couple of my last videos that I posted were, um, calling out Christianity for its hypocrisy and the atrocities it's committed. And literally, of course, the comments are 99 to 2 in favor, but the ones who do have negative comments are all like, "Well, you're confusing human actions with Christian. No true Christian would act like that, and you're not really talking about it." Shut the fuck up, man. Good for you, Lady Luna too. I'm glad to see you hate that book, man, and movies. Good. Well, it probably means you have good taste, and you know what you're talking about when it comes to movies. Come to Portland, Oregon Underground Bandage Clubs. Nothing on 50 Shades. All right. Uh, the only thing that confuses me about atheism is, do I put the I before the E or the E before the I? I love that. It's an ism, like all the other isms, right? Buddhism, Taoism. That's the way to remember. It is confusing, and I do it as a typo. I know which way to spell it, but if I'm typing fast, which I really can't do, but if I'm hunting and pecking fast, I'll flop them around too. I used to moderate for Backpage and report child trafficking. Wow, Dino Ribodoo. Yeah, that's rough, man. Um, uh, 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 I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Ribodoo, Ribodoo. That's sounds like an anglicization of a French name. Like it should have ended with EAU, Ribodoo. Uh, so forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. Just say no to 50 Shades Twilight and all that subpar ready at Twilight, right? Right. I mean, if you're a teenage girl, yeah, I actually watched the first Twilight because it was such a phenom, and I thought it was nicely. I thought it looked nice. The cinematography was good, but yeah, how many minutes can you watch a camera revolve around a mopey teenager in bed with a blank expression on her face? Like, it was just like what? So after that, I was like, yeah, okay, that was cute. Pattinson's easy on the eyes. Bella's a beautiful girl. What's the actress's name? She's gorgeous, pretty. But once you get once you get past that, oh god, yeah, it did ruin vampires. I got you. Whoever wrote that should be ashamed of themselves. Thank you, Twisted Entropy. Good to see you, buddy. Uh, X Twisted Entropy X is a genius. Go follow that guy. And someone who understands um, cosmology better than most of the idiots you're gonna run into. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was better. Yes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was great. I didn't watch it because it didn't jibe with my schedule. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer is pointed. Joss Whedon's, what can you say? He's good at what he does. And I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's just got intelligence behind her eyes, and I miss seeing her out there as much as we used to. But yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is pretty well documented as being a good show. Jesus was a necromancer. Yes, yes, he brought people back from the dead, right? Uh, the woman who wrote Twilight is a moron. Well, she's a Mormon. I read moron. She's a Mormon. Well, she's rich. Uh, Twilight didn't miseducate people about vampires. 50 Shades miseducated people on kink. And said, yeah, I don't know. I think Twilight, spinning vampires as they can't come out in the daylight because their skin glistens like a glitter ball in a disco. No, no, no. Stick to the fucking facts. If a vampire comes out in today, they burn up like fuck, man. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see, oh, they're so beautiful. They're angelic when we see their skin shining in the sun. Who the fuck made that up? You are smoking weed, lady. Yes, they're supposed to explode into flames, man. That's what makes vampires cool, man, is that fragility of their existence, man, and getting caught in the sunlight, but not, ooh, we can't come out in the sun because everyone will know we're vampires because our skin looks like iridescent crystal glowing weird fucking weirdness, man. Like the tiles they put on invisible spacecraft, or the masking technology, or the cloaking technology, right? That's what really is this really where we're going with this? Wesley Snipes will be the best Blade. Yeah, are they remaking Blades? I think I heard that and saw that. I think Blade's coming back. I never actually watched the Wesley Snipes Blades. Just found you. You're the best. Thank you, Ivan the Marine. You're the best, man. Thanks for being here. The whole town explodes from vampire blood in the Eucharist. What? That's a Eucharist I can get behind, You like Interview with the Vampire? Yeah, yeah, it was okay. I've never been a Tom Cruise hater. I think he generally does a decent job in his films, and Brad Pitt was sure easy on the eyes, right, when he was younger, and still today. And a young Kirsten Dunst with her funny teeth. Um, yeah, it was okay. I feel like the vampire movie for me is still the Frank Langella um, Dracula from the '70s when he was at the height of his career and his sex appeal. I'm mostly a Broadway guy, but I don't know if you know who Frank Langella is. But there was a time when he was like, whew, the women were like, Frank Langella, his black hair. Is it called Dracula? I can't even remember if it is, but that to me, that's the definitive Dracula movie for me. Um, Always will be. I think they fail. The Dracula movies generally fail. Thank you, Jesus, that you found atheist TikTok. And Rice novels are better than the couple movies that are out. Yeah, um, I think that's probably true. I haven't read Anne Rice really. Wesley Snipes was great in Tu Wong Fu. uh, I can't go in the sun. I'm too sparkly and bright and pretty. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just like really, this is what we're doing with it with vampires. Are you a real atheist? I've been stuck on preacher TikTok. Yeah, I'm a real atheist. I'm as atheist as it gets, quite honestly. Anti-theist, anti-religious. We ridicule religion here. We are here to make fun of stupid faiths, and be as generally offensive as we can to religious people. No, I'm kidding. If they're cool, we're cool. What are my pronouns? I'm a he/him guy. I'm good with the non-binary concept though. But yeah, I'm fabulously straight, my friend, and I am he, him, or they, if you want to refer to me in the royal. We. Our pronouns are we. Couldn't the universe be described as one big chemical reaction? Yeah, chemists will fight with physics all the time about which came first, and then the mathematician comes and says you're both wrong. But yeah, it could be described as that. I think, as far as my understanding, um, but I'm not. Again, I'm not a cosmologist. You have vitiligo. That's your excuse for not going out in the sun. Skin of Diamonds at least attempt to explain the speed and strength. It wasn't a great movie. It wasn't great movie wise. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Mormonism. Mormonism is just a cult. It's a modern religion that was invented by a con man, a known con man, who, again, if you get up and say it with authority, a certain amount of people will believe what you're saying. It's just human nature, and certain people are cynical enough to take advantage of that. And Joseph Smith was one of those guys. He wrote what he wanted to write. He reformed a society in his image, and he succeeded at it, largely because most people are followers. Most people don't have the critical thinking skills to argue with someone who's that charismatic. And there you go. I mean, he led them to the promised land on the western frontier of Illinois, which is what their book says. They would find it, and then when it didn't work out and they kicked them out of Nauvoo, then they had to keep going, right? So the goalpost changes. Like, actually, the promised land's really there's a lake, nobody really around. Let's take this. Yeah, and Mormonism is just a giant business, a con, one of the more successful ones that you can point to. But yeah, Mormonians are creepy and gross. Kenneth Copeland is the scariest preacher I've ever seen. Yeah, I forgot about him. I might have added him to my list of people who like defended Joel Osteen after I posted my video firing Christianity. What is up with people liking Joel Osteen? He was like, "Why is Joel Osteen on the list? He didn't do anything to you." What? But yeah, this Copeland asshole. I have not spent a lot of time watching it, but everything you just want to look at his face, and you're like, how can anybody like trust this guy to do anything except bilk you for your money? Yeah, South Park, obviously, the guys who wrote the Book of Mormon, the play, which I've seen, and it was absolutely fucking fantastic. So, yeah, South Park, I've not seen enough South Park. I've seen enough of it to know the references and to know what they do, but it was another show that came too late in my youth. I think I was busy, and it didn't roll with my schedule, so I never watched it regularly. Obviously, and I went and saw the movie as soon as it came out. So yeah, I'm not Mr. South Park where I remember like a bunch of episodes, but I love South Park and love the creators there and their take on everything. It's like Atheist Brunch, right? I always bring something for brunch. Check this out. This is what I got today. It's a fucking cantaloupe from someone's garden, and it's not even orange. Fucking Trump's face is more orange than the inside of this goddamn cantaloupe. And this is somebody who came from California and like needed my advice on what grows in the area, but they're all about everything that can grow in there, which is awesome. I love that. But it's like there's a reason people don't grow cantaloupes here. They don't really do that well. The season's not that long. You need the right kind of soil. You need the right kind of conditions. Get off of it, fruit flies. I'm gonna try this non-orange. It's like barely can see it, right? It's like as orange as I don't know. It like barely qualifies, and some of it's almost white. Not very sweet. Good try, lady, on the cantaloupe. Um, but I suggest sticking with crops that grow in Wisconsin. Excuse me while I dab my nose for a second. It's almost noon, and I can generally go for another half an hour or so before it's time for lunch. Really appreciate all you guys being here. Yeah, make a smoothie. Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't be too smooth either. I don't think it was really kind of bitter. Not bitter, but just kind of sour, and that didn't ripen up. Gum syrup. There you go. Of course, that's what I need. I need to force myself to eat a cantaloupe bad enough to put gum syrup on it. I think we'll just compost that old boy. You just made a Wisconsin old fashioned. That's nice. We love our drinks in Wisconsin, don't we? This is like the home of the wacky, wacky Bloody Mary. If people don't know, you can go to Bloody Mary and get like a giant Jaeger stick in your Bloody Mary here, or a pickle spear, or like they'll go outside the box. Big chunks of. I've seen big giant things of bacon in your Bloody Mary here. So yeah, there's always some meat. Probably someone makes one with a fucking burger sticking out of it in Wisconsin. But yeah, these folks love their drinking. Thoughts on the Satanic Temple? Love those guys, man. They're fighting Christian nationalism, tooth and nail, and they've got a gimmick to do it with. They are a religion, so they can demand the same rights that the Christians can, and they're all atheists. So I love them, love what they do. Lucian Greaves, kind of an arrogant dick. I've interviewed him in the past, but he did something great there. You can't take it away from him. They're genius. Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah, culty weird idiots. Jehovah's Witness, they could have been like a decent retro sect of Christianity if they just didn't go off the rails the way they did, because they deny a lot of the Christian doctrine that was added later, and they're actually their interpretation of the Gospels is closer to the early Christian sects. That's why why they do things the way they do. They don't they understand that religion should be completely out of government, and they don't push for that. That's a brilliant fucking part. And there's other stuff I can't think of it right now, but there's other stuff that, like, yeah, if they really like followed up with just this, then you could see why it would be a more attractive version of Christianity than the bigoted, ridiculous evangelical mm, bullshit that we see coming out of people who don't put any thought into the philosophy and just follow what the preacher man says down in the megachurch. But not celebrating holidays, and going around door to door and shunning family members and abusing people. I mean, the J Dubs they're just creepy as fuck. Modern Quakers are really cool. That somebody thanks for FF Mountain. What's the FF stand for? I love mountain laurel, and I know what it is. I'm a horticulturist, but what's FF for? FF Mountain Laurel. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being so engaged in the conversation. Appreciate you. Um, Yeah, hard-boiled egg and a bloody. Somebody put that on TikTok. Yeah, we've seen that. Um, the Quakers are cool. They got it together. Those are talk about spiritual. They just want to get in a room and be quiet and meditate. And no, there's no preacher, there's no sermon, there's no, and as far as I know, the Friends Society, the Society of Friends is what they actually call themselves. And they're probably closer to a tolerant version of Christianity than any of us really see. So there's a Quaker meeting house in Illinois, in the rich suburbs of northern Illinois, that I go by once in a while. And it always makes me smile, because that's, again, the minority religion that we need to protect, that we need not to lose, that we need not to have beaten down and discriminated against and shit right out of society by modern American evangelical Christian nationalists, Christo fascist fuck stains on the planet. We need people like the Quakers, and we need people like the pagans, and we need people who will join us atheists in the fight against Christian nationalism. Yogurt enemas. Who does that? That sounds really, really gross. Uh, uh, yeah, Quakers are, again. To me, Quakers a lot like Unitarians. They're just people who can't let go. They feel like there's a loving God out there somewhere, but they do their own thing and they shut the fuck up. That's what religion should be about. Please. Thanks for abiding, brother. Thank you, Scott Norris, for being here. Don't JWs not allow members to get blood transfusions? Yeah, I think this is part of what killed Prince, and I don't want to say that with any certainty because somebody kicked back on me. Like, no, that's a rumor. He didn't. But Prince was a JW, and he struggled with, his faith versus the life that he lived. And I think in the end, he did not take care of himself properly with medicine, largely because of his JW misconceptions. So thank you, JWs, for killing fucking Prince if you did. They also don't allow slavery and women are equal. Yeah. Yeah, the Quakers definitely passed the vibe test. You're absolutely right, Dina. Appreciate you guys being here on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube if you haven't yet. And hello from Germany. Wie geht's, mein Freund? Bob's photo blog joins us from Deutschland. Hey, cutie, says anti-status Moo FC. Anti-status Moo FC. What a time to be from Brazil. What's going on in Brazil? Am I missing something? And hi to you, cutie. Is that a short movie reference? I am not a troll asks, is that short a movie reference? I'm not sure. What's up, V1NCX? He has me birthday? What? Who does? Jonathan Calfold. He has me birthday. You wrote like that like you're a pirate. Thank you, Steam Bunna. I love you. Thanks for loving my videos. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who comes on and joins. Every Sunday and Wednesday we do this, and Friday sometimes we do dual lives. Anyone catch the live with Hyperhumanity? Great creator and one of my favorite dual lives that I've ever done. I felt like I learned stuff. I felt like the people brought good questions. I felt like he and I answered those questions in an informative way. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. We appreciate you. We'll see a lot more content on YouTube that's different than this content once the season ends for me, and I can pay attention to it. Thanks, Squeeze. Did you like it? I appreciate it. Thank you, Rob's 1800. I look forward to having you here. Look forward to it so much. The Sunday morning one is my favorite one, and I love it. As soon as I get on, it's a drug for me. It's like I'm an actor, and I come from that. So as soon as I'm on here, no matter what kind of mood I was in before, I'm immediately present, and I'm ready to do this, and it's really really gratifying and enlightening and energizing, and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you all so much for being here. If you got any questions, hit me up. I can usually go, and I look for some crap to talk about. And I wanted to bring up this article. Atheism among Muslims is spreading like wildfire. It's from the National Interest. This is the name of it. Nationalinterest.org is the website, from September 19th. So it's not that old, but I've been meaning to bring it up for a couple of weeks now. And it talks about how atheism among Muslim populations was once unthinkable, but individuals are now renouncing Islam at greater rates than ever before. Ex-Muslims are publicly flaunting their rejection of Islam as never before. A steamy tell-all memoir tops the country's bestseller lists. One video with 1.5 million views shows a copy of the Quran ripped into pieces. Another video shows a woman in a bikini cooking and eating bacon. Woo! And blasphemous cartoons of Muhammad. So, the point, I urge anyone to look for it if you Google it. It's called Atheism Among Muslims Spreading Like Wildfire. Those keywords should get it for you on Reddit. And it was very interesting. It's kind of long, and it talks about how even though it seems like Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, it's also the religion where apostasy is growing fastest. Is really, really comforting for us to know that people are breaking out of their indoctrination. They are losing their fear of retribution and able to come out as ex-Muslims, because we know part of the stats from Muslim countries are completely skewed because people are scared to say to an interview. A pollster comes to your door and is like, "So, what do you think about would you consider yourself a strong Muslim, a medium Muslim, a weak Muslim, or an apostate?" People are going to be like, "Oh, I love it. Whoa, no, we're all about it, man. We love Islam." They're afraid. This is how people keep people in religion. Part of how people keep people beaten down, beaten back into an unsustainable religion that they don't have the capacity to stick to on their own. That they're too skeptical thinkers to believe the shit that they've been told, but they have to keep their mouths shut because they don't want to get fucking beheaded or dragged down the street or thrown off of a roof or killed by your own family. This is what goes on, and it's no wonder that the numbers seem like Islam is going up, because that's how they keep people in it, especially in certain countries. So to read an article about how, again, just like in America, the youth are they have the internet available to them, they have other ways of thinking available to them that didn't before, and they're being emboldened. They're coming out against um, their indoctrination in record numbers, spreading like wildfire. So that's really that's really, really encouraging. Does it specify what Muslim countries are becoming atheists? Nah, I don't know if it does or not. And I don't want to bore you all with just reading the whole thing, but um, yeah, I think it's general. It's across most of these countries, I think, is the point. Um, and obviously, the ones where you're more likely to get killed, it's going to be less because you're more likely to get killed. But try to find that and read it if you're interested in that kind of shit. Question beliefs regularly good practice. Yeah, of course. Question everything. Question everything. Even what we're telling you here, and even what your parents tell you, and even what you think you already knew. Question it from time to time. That's what the Christians would like to have in the U.S. Yeah, they would. What, a theocracy? Yeah. Got in a riff with some nitwit that told me atheism is also indoctrination. Yeah, that's so stupid. When I mentioned the fact that I thought I had indoctrinated my older daughter to atheism because I was very, very upfront about it with her. I was like, there's no God, there's no reason to believe that. And I kind of hammered it into her head that I was a non-believer and that God certainly wasn't real. And I spun that as indoctrination. And a lot of the smarties on here were like, how can you indoctrinate into somebody into atheism? And obviously you really can't. It's just a lack of belief and a counter to theism. A contradictory statement to theism. It doesn't really uh, encompass any other doctrine. That's really all it is. So it's hard to indoctrinate someone into something that doesn't have a liturgy or a dogma or a belief system. So I get why the people said that. And I'm like, yeah, all right, maybe indoctrination is the wrong word, but your kids are going to listen to you when you say it to them forcefully. And you can tell how I am. I'm that guy. I'm like, yeah, come on, there's no God. You give me a break, man. And then my younger kids, I didn't do that with because I thought about it. I'm like, it's probably not really any better than what religions do to their kids. So I'm gonna just lay off the subject. I didn't. My little kids, I didn't tell them about God. I didn't even bring it up. And of course, by the time they were 4 or 5, they're smart kids. And I one day I recorded them and I asked them if they knew what God was, and they couldn't tell me. They just were like, I hear people say, "Oh my God," They didn't have any other idea what it was. And then they went to public school and they got indoctrinated by the teachers and the fucking kids on the playground. And that's what launched me into activism, really. But yeah, I feel your pain because people are like, oh, atheism is just, you just indoctrinate people to your belief system. It's like, it's not a belief system, you troll. Get a fucking clue. But again, they want us to be just like them. It bothers them that people can think in a whole different paradigm. It bothers them that people don't subscribe to the method that their mind has for believing. So they're much more comfortable with a Muslim, even though they hate Muslims. Christians are much more comfortable with a Muslim in their midst because at least that person believes in something. Yeah, they weren't taught religion. They were, on the side. Like the music teachers decided it was a good idea for Thanksgiving to teach them this prayer put to music as a Thanksgiving thing, right? Your kid's going to go to school, they're going to have a Thanksgiving show. There's a million ways to do that and leave the obvious religious elements of Thanksgiving out that you're thanking God for the harvest. But Thanksgiving has become a fairly secular holiday. I don't feel like it's a religious holiday in America, and it never did. But this teacher, staunch Catholic, taught them this prayer that we all learned when we were little, put to music. Thank you for the food we eat. Thank you for the world so sweet. Thank you for the birds that sing. Thank you, God, for everything. She put that to music and taught them that as a little song for the Thanksgiving thing. I went straight to the principal and I was like, what the actual fuck is this? This teacher needs to back off of this shit or I will come gunning for her fucking certificate. You do not teach my kids about God in school. This is a prayer. And when I looked it up, that prayer had already been busted in like the late 60s in DeKalb, Illinois, as a prayer for being taught in schools, as the prayer that we all grew up. There's a simple prayer that we all grew up with as Christians. You may have remembered the prayer. Uh, and the principal was cool. And the principal's license plate said one saved. And even he knew. I knew when I was getting into it that he was a Christian because I've seen his license plate and a born again Christian and a black Christian from a black church where they're, really, really over the top with their evangelism and their belief systems. But he was also a really, really nice guy and a fair man and a good principal and a loving chap. And he got it, and he talked to her, and it never happened again with that person. But that made me realize that Christian nationalist teachers will use any opportunity they can in the public school to slip it in there. And so you have to be, if you have kids in the public school and you think that they're not getting proselytized to, I guarantee you they fucking are. There's one teacher or other somewhere who's bringing it up, even if it's just sly, even if it's just them. My older kids, when these younger kids got older in fourth and fifth grade, the teacher would bring up how she has a son with some drug problems, but God is helping him get over that now. This isn't part of the curriculum. This is her telling an anecdote, but it's also the public school teacher who is an authoritative figure and a representative of the government. That is the government implying that one religion is better than another, in this case, theism or Christianity, when she got talking about it more. And this is brutal. It's absolutely brutal, and it happens everywhere. And the more I hear stories, horror stories from all around the country where people, they just think it's really normal. If you're in Kentucky, it might just be like out there because no one is kicking back. Well, when this happened, the whole school district learned who I was in a fucking hurry, man. And I'm easily the most hated man in Kenosha School District because I brought the full weight of FFRF and the Milwaukee news organizations down on the heads of the Kenosha School District because they allowed a teacher to paste the Bible on her fourth grade enrichment class. This is supposed to be a class where kids learn at an accelerated rate because they're smarter kids, right? And the teacher put the Bible verses from Galatians, the fruits of the Spirit verses up there. She put an advertisement for a Christian concert, come worship with us. She had all kinds of Christian icon read Bible verses without the verse up there, right? She just put it up there like it was some quote from somebody. But I'm like, we know the Bible, we've read it, I know what this is. Why are you having the Bible on in the classroom? And it finally got so uncomfortable for my kid that he stood up to her and he said, you know what, you shouldn't be teaching us about God. On his own, he did that. I was so proud I could cry thinking about it. There were pagan friends of his that were in the class that were uncomfortable by it, made uncomfortable by the Christian talk in the classroom, and he stood up to the teacher. And then the parent of the girls who were pagans came to me and said, "Do you know what your son did?" Because he didn't come and tell me. And she told me the story, and I was like, "This is going on in that classroom. Thank you for bringing it to my attention." I felt like a bad parent because I didn't notice. And when I went to look at it, I was appalled. It was like Sunday school. And I went to the principal of the school, and he didn't care. He didn't know. He's like, "Well, I'm not sure that violent." I'm like, "I'm going to tell you why it does, and I'm going to assure you that it does." He's like, "Oh, I got to kick it up to my boss and see what they think." I'm like, "Kick it up to your boss. I'm going to give you a certain amount of time because I don't want to be that parent who's like embarrassing his kid by doing this. So I'm going to give you some time to look into it and take the shit down. If it doesn't come down, this is going to happen and you're not going to be happy with it." And he didn't take it down. And everything that I said happened. The news came, they brought their vans outside. They interviewed me in front of the school. I embarrassed the whole fucking school district. They had to hire their own lawyers to look into it just to end up taking the fucking shit down. This will happen, people, everywhere if you don't watch out. It was in Wisconsin, in Kenosha. You can look up Kenosha atheist dad on Google. Google Kenosha atheist dad, and the news story will come up. It's just a 5-minute story, and I explain, to the reporter, and she gets like a good reporter, she gets an opinion from some other parents who are all dopes. They're all religious dopes. They're like, "Oh no, we don't mind. We think it should happen in every classroom," and that just and reinforced the fact to me that we've already lost generations of people to this idiocy. We've already miseducated people to the idea that there should be separation of church and state, and that teaching kids religion in the public school is a violation of the separation of church and state. But in the end, I knew I was right, and the FFRF wrote a letter, and the whole thing got taken down. And it could have been done simply if they'd have just listened to me in the beginning and cared about the non-Christian kids in the classroom. But they didn't. They don't give a fuck about the non-Christian kids. They give a fuck about identifying the non-Christian kids so that they know who they are and that they can then work on making them Christians. Fact. It goes deeper. There's a creationist camp that they send the kids to an overnight trip, a science trip. Yeah, and it's a creationist camp. They don't teach them creationism during the science trip. They're just using it to make money. And they know that if they cross that line, it'll never happen again. So they stay under the radar with it. But what it does is it exposes these kids to the existence of the camp, which is a great camp. as far as like what they have for kids to do, zip lines and everything you would expect at a camp, and canoeing and swimming and biking. You can go there in the summer and your parents can pay to have you lied to about the nature of the universe. They have a science center that explains the 6 days of creation as though it were real science, and they indoctrinate kids in this way. Why is the public school even involved with an outfit like this? Well, they shouldn't be, and I've been fighting that for years, and they stay under the radar, so they don't violate anything, and so I can't really do anything about it. But I'm watching Camp Timberley in East Troy, Wisconsin. I am watching you fuckers, man. You're lying to kids, and I won't put up with it. Thanks for the follow, Mindy R. There was an effort to defund schools so they can be private and separation of church state. Yeah, of course. The whole voucher system is what that's about. It's about letting Christian parents use tax money to send their kids to Lutheran school where they get lied to about science. It's disgusting. The voucher system is evil. It doesn't do anything, and they lie to you about what it was supposed to be for. For underprivileged kids to go to a better school. Well, all that does is make the school they came from even worse, right? And it doesn't work. Chris Burrows, you're my hero. You take no shit confidence. Your take no shit confidence makes me almost feel safe enough to come out as an atheist. Well, don't jeopardize your life, buddy. If you need your job, don't get fired because of me. But I do it because I can do it, and it's important to me. So I'm here to speak up for everybody who can't. And that's honestly the reason I do this. Hello from an atheist in Palestine. What's up? Go Palestine. Poor fucking Palestine. I feel so bad for Palestinians living under Zionism. What a fucking shit show that has become. Banning history in schools is crazy. Are they banning history? I know they're re-spinning history. They're putting Moses in the textbooks because all the textbooks are printed in Texas. True fact. Most of the textbooks that are used are printed in Texas, and so they've lobbied to include things that refer to America as a Christian country, which we really, those of us who are old enough to have gotten an education. No, is not true. Yes, I do support Palestinians. I think that's a fucking joke. What happened there? I'm not like Palestinians have not helped themselves. Let's be realistic in doing the right thing to get over what they're going through. But I do think that Palestinians got jobbed hard by the West, and they absolutely. What's up? Hey, Heather Mack. What's up? You sneaking on? You still at home? Did you have to go to your brother's church today? Palestine started it. Yeah, there's never been a Palestine. See, that's the thing. It's too bad. There's never been a place called Palestine officially. So you could spin it that way if you want, but we didn't take a piece of the desert and give it to Palestine. We took Palestinians' land and gave it to Israel after what they went through in the Holocaust, which is understandable. You get why it happened, but was it right for England and America to basically decide that this is going to be a Jewish state now and fuck whoever lived here before? Was that right? How do the Palestinians start that? And feels like, well, they did that after the two-state solution was rejected and all. Yeah, okay, but they still did it. They did it because we were bigger and we had bigger guns. All right. The UK and the US are responsible for the fucking shit that's going on there today. The Israelites were there after they left Egypt. Yeah, we pretty much know that the Exodus from Egypt is not factual rendering of facts. Yeah, I'm not saying that Israel doesn't deserve a homeland. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way they went about it is just ripping a piece of fucking rug out from under somebody else to give it to them was shitty. And now the world needs to take care of Palestinians like we took care of Jews. Do you agree with the U.S. giving $3 billion worth of tax to Israel? I don't agree with the U.S. giving tax money to any other country. Let those fucking countries sort their own shit out. No, wouldn't you rather see them spend that on building improvements and bridges here, and so we don't have fucking condominiums falling on people's heads in Miami? No, stay the fuck out of other countries' business, man. What the fuck? Like we don't have enough to do here in America. The shit show that we got going on here, we got to spend tax money on any other government. So no, I'm not for it at all. Two-state solution has only worked once here in Ireland. Has it worked in Ireland? I'm not educated enough to know, but it seems to me that that engendered a lot of violence for a lot of years too. Maybe I'm wrong about that. They should be spending it on healthcare. Yeah, anything. Spend it on fucking, I don't care, free candy for kids. I don't give a shit. Just don't spend it on other governments, man. Fucking let people take care of their own shit. Do you hate us Christians? I don't hate real Christians. I just don't meet any. Sorry. No, I don't hate anybody. Anybody who knows me knows I don't hate anybody. I literally love everybody I meet until they give me a reason not to. And Christianity has given me a reason to hate it. And Christian evangelicals and certain Christians that I've met or seen or watched their behavior, um, yeah, those people are hateable. But I don't just hate Christians out of hate. No. And no, most atheists that I know don't. Atheists are more loving by far than Christians, in my experience, and that's pretty vast at this point, honestly. What reason did Christians give you? uh, Watch the news. Christians gave me Donald Trump. Christians gave me homophobia. Christians gave me hate speech. Christians gave me no true freedom from religion in a country where it's my right to raise my kids atheist if I want to raise them as atheists. But I can't because as soon as they walk down the street, some Christian goon is telling them about God or proselytizing to them about Jesus. And no one gives a fuck. No one will stand up for me. And no one will stand up for the atheist parent who has to put up with this fucking shit in our daily lives every fucking day. But if it happened to a Christian parent, if the kid went to school and he came back a Muslim, they'd fucking have a teacher fired the next fucking day. If I was an atheist teacher and I told my kids that there was no God, the Christian parents would have me fired tomorrow, and the school district would back them up, and the fucking government would back them up. So please don't ask me what Christians have done to piss me off again. You're not paying attention to life if you think that Christians are blameless. What about Islam? How many times are people going to ask me about Islam? Islam sucks. Muslims are cool people. Islam sucks. Um, Mom preaches to me. It makes me crazy. Yeah, sorry. I know how that is. My mom leaves me alone because she knows I'll browbeat her into submission if she brings that bullshit up. But she's still a born again, unthinking, unskeptical, loving mom of mine. I love her. We have a good relationship. We just we don't talk about that shit anymore because she knows I will go off. It'll be like she'll talk to me one thing about Christianity, and it'll be like one of my lives. I'll talk for 2 hours until she's like, I don't want to bring it up. Oh, well, then why did you bring it up? They think us not indoctrinating everybody is them being persecuted. Yeah, they really do. Oh, why are people persecuting us Christians? You're a fucking 85% majority for the entire history of the US, and only now are you starting to decline because people are standing up to it. As soon as you stand up to a bully, they cry, right? I learned that I'm a little guy, and I learned it early on in school. If you punch a bully in his fucking teeth when he's bullying you, you don't get bullied anymore. And that bully ends up being the one who's a crybaby, right? So it's the same with fucking Christians. They've had it their way for so long, they cannot even conceive of anybody kicking back, or it seems like persecution to them. But most of them are mindless tools. Most of them don't have the fucking sense that God gave them to understand that everything they're being fed is just indoctrination passed down through the generations. Nothing is true because your granny said it was true. Now, some things might be true that your granny said was true, but nothing is true because she said it was true. And that's religion in a nutshell. People only think it's true because every generation who went before them told them it was true. That's not evidence. That's indoctrination. That's tradition. That's social immersion. That's cultural conditioning. That's not evidence and it's not truth. It's literally 2,000 years from now, if you told everybody Batman was true and look at all the literature to prove that it's true, they'll forget that somebody wrote Batman in the 30s or whatever the fuck it was made up, and there might be a cult of Batman at some point in the future because people over 2,000 years, especially in the 2,000 years that preceded these last 20 or 40 or 60, information was at a premium, and you could tell anybody anything, and no one was going to be like, "Well, where's the peer-reviewed research on that?" or "Show me the internet article," or people are like, "Really? I'm going to go to hell if I don't do what you say? Oh boy, I better not. I better not. I better do that." So believe me when I tell you that nothing in this world is true just because Granny said it was true. It might be, and that's a coincidence. Or it might be because Granny actually experienced it and she told you that white wine will take red wine stains out of a carpet. But, religion is not true because all of our forefathers thought it was true. That just makes it ubiquitous and an indoctrination technique. Erasing Christians. We're that easy. They'll be the dominant religion in the United States until religion itself is gone. Are you trying to erase Christians from the U.S.? No, I'm trying to erase bigotry and hypocrisy and intolerance and hate and hypocrisy and everything else that you can ascribe to modern evangelical Christianities. I'm trying to erase Christianity from the government that we were guaranteed would have no religion in it by the founders who weren't Christians. Erase Christianity from the US. I'm trying to create a US where Christianity fades away on its own, period. Unsustainable mythological arc that is an intellectual embarrassment based on earlier myths, largely on Bronze Age Jewish fairy tales. Anybody who just takes that shit and thinks it's true without thinking critically about it, you need to have your fucking brain inspected. Thank you, Macy Smith. You're deconstructing in the Bible Belt. Good luck to you. We are here for you. It's really not that hard. Just let it go. It's none of it's real, and you will feel much better without God looking down. What do you think of holidays like Christmas? I'm a cultural Christian. I was raised a Christian. I love the holidays. I don't pretend that it's a Christian holiday. It's not. It's a pagan holiday that was stolen for Christianity. But we call it Christmas. We don't like. I'm not Mister. You got to say Happy Holidays to me because it's going to offend my atheism if you say Merry Christmas. I say Happy Holidays because I don't know if I'm talking to a Jew or a Muslim or whatever. Unless I know that someone's going to take it the right way. If I know I'm talking to a Christian or a cultural Christian, I'll say happy. I'll say Merry Christmas. I'm not that guy. I mean, meanwhile we have Christians who make it so you can't say Happy Halloween and you can't celebrate Halloween at the school. You can't have a Halloween show or it's got to be a fall festival because we don't want to invoke the devil. Again, pandering to what the Christians think is right and where the rest of us can take can fuck right off. They don't give a shit. Everybody loves presents. Everybody loves big meals. Everybody loves getting a little fucking wasted on some good Christmas wine and smoking some good Christmas weed. And yeah, I'm all about Easter. I forget it happens because it changes dates, right? Christmas is always on the same day and everybody has it off, so you can't forget Christmas. But Easter, I haven't fucking, if I remember when it is, then I got my kids some shit, some candy and some shit, and Easter bunny shit because it's fun and kids like it. But ever since I left Christianity, Easter's been an absolute afterthought. I've been like, oh, is it Easter already? Holy crap! My parents disowned me in the early '80s. I'm really sorry to hear that, Stan Wrong, but you're probably better off. That's sad though that happens to people. I don't mean to be nonchalant about being shunned. It's one of the biggest embarrassments of religion is people that will. That's real Christian love, isn't it? When you shun your family and you're disowned by your family because you're an atheist. That's just to me that's the hallmark of a small mind. Somebody who loves their religion more than they love their offspring. Sorry. Have you ever went to church as an atheist? Of course, yeah. I've been to church several times. Like I say, if there was a time when if I went back to visit my mom, I would go to the church because I knew a lot of the people. It was great to see the old friends and stuff. I'll sing hymns. I love to sing. Love to throw a harmony at them once in a while, and a lot of hymns are good music. Doesn't mean I have to believe the message. So yeah, and I've been to several Catholic masses because I have friends and baptisms and funerals and just this and that. I've even walked up and taken communion because I knew that the people who were watching me, it was going to make them feel good because they wanted me to be a godson for their grandson and they were dying. I'll lie to give a dying person comfort. I don't give a fuck about that. You know, I was like, this doesn't. I don't care about that kind of shit. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I believe in it. I had some shitty fucking wine at a Catholic church and a dry ass stale wafer, and went back to being an atheist afterwards. I'm tired of pretending religion isn't a logical fallacy. Same with spirituality. Yeah, don't pretend anymore. Christian symbolism taken out of Kenosha classroom after atheist father gets lawyers involved. Did you find it? Yeah. Watch the little video. It's awesome, man. I got off a couple of good fucking quotes, man. And she only, she let me have like 4 sentences. I think it came out edited really nicely because she had to edit in some content from the religious that these rednecks that were waiting for their kids in their car. But yeah, it worked out well for me. Disowning my mom died Friday of COVID. I'm sorry. And you weren't allowed to be involved. That's sad. I mean, this kind of shit that happens. I know I make fun and I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you went through something like that, my heart breaks for you. Honestly, it does. That's just shitty. Shitty, shitty, shitty. What's the difference between church and business? Yeah, businesses pay taxes. That's the difference. Christians and conservatives seem to think that history will treat them differently for the past 5 years. Um, Well, if history treats them differently, it's because they owned it. I'm not sure what you're actually getting at with that. I mean, I sorted it in, but I'm not sure I'm reading it right. Do you just like all religions as a whole, or just Christianity? No, I think religious thinking is just weak thinking. It's not um, skeptical. It's not logical. It's not helpful. But no, I don't. There's many religions that are very cool. I'm a Dudist right here, man. It's, Pastafarianism, Rastafarianism, cooler than Christianity. The Sikhs are pretty cool. Yeah, Buddhists in its pure form, where you're really just trying to be the best person you could be, is really all it's about, and trying to attain enlightenment spiritually. I get that. There's a lot of I don't think any religion is really good for the human race anymore. I think it's counterproductive. But on a personal level, if you're trying to better yourself and that's the way you're doing it, then who am I to argue? You know what I mean? So no, I can't say that I hate all religions equally. And some of them are really fascinating. The Yazidi, who are trapped on a mountainside being slaughtered in a genocide by ISIS, and the world doesn't even know about it. They don't know who they are. Beautiful ancient religion with a real instinctive knowledge of the universe. It seems like their creation story really reflects the Big Bang in a really interesting way. So again, religion is fascinating as a point of study. It should be relegated to anthropology at this point. Social anthropology. Churches should be turned into museums today. Put a fucking fence around them. Open them as museums. This is what idiots used to believe. Uh, Dolly Parton is my dad. Again, if you experience Christian hate, I promise that's not love. But really, thanks for that. I thought it was love. God's true love isn't religious. God has no true love because God doesn't exist. There's clearly no omnibenevolent being. Otherwise, the shit that goes on in this world wouldn't go on. The genocide I just spoke of wouldn't be allowed to go on. Cancer in babies wouldn't be allowed to go on. Pedophile priests wouldn't be allowed to exist. If there was a God who gave a fuck about us on the planet, then you know but what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong about Zeus? What if you're wrong about the 3,000 other gods that have existed besides your God? What if you're wrong about those? Yeah, Joseph Campbell. I've not read a lot of Joseph Campbell, but The Power of Myth is a fascinating read for if you're into that kind of stuff. Read Joseph Campbell. Um, I'll vote for the fence. What's that mean? Thank you. I saw the. Did you? Yeah. That's what I was getting to with saying all electrons are the same electron. We are all connected. Yeah, and I have a sense of that. When people ask, if I have a spiritual, the more we learn about science, the more we learn that, we are all connected in a certain way. But that's not religion. That's just science that hasn't really been quantified yet, and that makes me think I'm more of a Jedi, right? If I could harness that, I'd love fantasizing about harnessing the Force, because there's you know more sense to that than there is to the fear and guilt driven philosophies of the Abrahamic faiths. Um, and it's something that you can hope for science to discover and quantify at some point. So that there's no question that we're all connected. This is one world. That's why nationalist politics don't. I don't understand it. I don't get the kickback against globalization. It's going to happen whether you like it to or not. We're one people on one planet here, and we need to start treating each other like one people and giving a fuck about everybody, and stop overpopulating it and polluting it and then using the resources like it was given here for us to use until they're gone, and then we're all going to go up to heaven. I mean, I don't understand any of that. We're certainly all connected. All plants are connected through the mycorrhiza. We know this now. It's a fascinating discovery. That people who are into veganism are discounting the life that plants have. If you're going to eat, you're going to take a life. So sorry that you don't like to kill things with faces, but I know personally as a landscaper that every plant has a face. I have to I have to turn the face outward every time I plant a plant so that the people can see the face and not the ass. I've been an atheist for a week now, and I feel like I'm betraying Jesus. I feel so guilty. Why? But Jesus does not exist. If he did exist, he's dead, and he doesn't care about you now. So there's no. See, this is your indoctrination, and I pity. I don't pity. I don't mean to say that. I feel bad for you that you're in that psychological state, but I think it'll probably pass. And just keep on reading. Read the God Delusion. Read God is not great. I didn't have to read these books, and I don't even know what they say, but they've helped so many people logically debunk their own indoctrination that you don't need to feel. I did feel the first time I had sex, I felt like that. I'm like, I'm doing something dirty, and God didn't want me to do this. And that was something that I had to get over. It didn't take me long. I could promise you that, but I do remember quite clearly being guilty about premarital sex, at that time when I was coming out of religion. So I know what you're going through, and it's ugly, but, um, think about what you're saying. You really think that, like, there's a spirit dead ghost of Jesus who is living, sitting next to the right hand of God, and has the ability to keep track of every mind on the planet, and is pissed off that you don't believe in him anymore. It's absurd beyond all reasoning. It's just absurd. It's silly, and it's a romantic, religious, made up idea to control you, and it's worked. See how it's controlling you? Can you see that? When I became an atheist, I was sad that heaven didn't exist. Yeah, heaven does exist. It's here. It's right here. Look around you. This is heaven. Look at it that way, and do what you can to save it instead of turning it into hell, like Christians are doing. Turn, this is, if there's a heaven, we're already in it, and we're doing our best to fuck it up. I've been thinking about afterlife like I'm going to get punished. Yeah, there's no evidence that there's any afterlife. It's just silly to think that a loving God would punish you forever for using your brain. That's absurd. That's another way that I broke out of religion really fast and easily. It's just it's a monkey-headed idea. There's literally no sense to it at all. It's not to be taken seriously. You need to just have faith in you. Have faith in your mind. Um, yeah, absurdism. There you go. The expansion. Who does love the expanse? I can't wait till that comes back. If God's priority is whether or not you believe in him and not preventing evil, he's not a good guy. Yeah, but succinctly said. Thank you, gayest twink. I love the gayest twink, man. That's a great name, and you're a twink, and you're the gayest twink I know. And I thank you so much for being here. I love you. This is heaven. You've already mentioned natural disasters and diseases. I have. Um, but if we worked on, I mean, there's always going to be natural disasters. Obviously, this is a living, breathing planet. But the diseases that you speak of could easily be solved through a combination of technology, medicine, better living. Um, this is what I mean. We're doing our best to make this hell. It's just a fucking metaphor. Uh, Obviously, this isn't heaven. It's the fucking planet Earth, a rocky planet with enough water to sustain the people on it if we don't fuck it up, right? I'm speaking in figurative speech. This is, if there is any heaven anywhere, it's this beautiful planet that we've been lucky enough to have been spawned on, and meanwhile we have everybody everywhere doing everything they can to fuck it up. The consciousness in mushrooms is responsible for modern humans. What, in psilocybin? Dr. Paul Stamets. God has begun. Damn it, go away. God has begun to like the people who don't believe in him more than the religious nuts. Yeah, if God exists, he certainly values um, people who think freely instead of the people who follow harmful doctrine. Hitch referred to heaven as a celestial North Korea where people worship the clear leader nonstop. Yeah, and if you're in, if you, why would you want to go to the Christian heaven if it's going to be full of Christians? Thanks for the cake, Berwick. It's what you make of your own life. That's pretty much true. My drink arrived, so just as I got into this live, a real brunch. Nice. Are you in a bar? That's awesome. Watching on your device. They'll always give me the freedom to research and create my own opinions, and I still chose atheism. Excellent. During my stint as a Greek Orthodox, I hated having to kiss the priest's ring and the church icons. Yeah, talk about COVID. That's disgusting. Kiss the priest's ring. The fuck is that about? All of that ceremony and gobbledygook and kissing the Bible and kissing shit, and ugh, it's fucking voodoo. And it's disgusting and not sanitary to me. And I went with one that made sense. Good. I used to think that this meant I had been indoctrinated, but when neither concept was introduced, believe in God or burn, UMF. Also love thy neighbor, no judgment. God, God, all loving. Is there a sentence in there somewhere? Um, I love being gay. Caring for myself is so much better than caring for an imagined God. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. You are your own God, and I don't say that. I say that unironically. That's a better way to look at it. The Satanists have it right. Dark time. Yeah, here. Kissing ring. Isn't that the mafia? Yeah, mafia and Roman Catholics not too far separated from each other. I told my girlfriend I love her, but if she doesn't love me back, I'll torture her. Is this acceptable? No. Bukowski rules. Lots of love there, man. Yeah. Thanks for the likes, Nana. Yeah, washing feet. But people tell me that that was a metaphor for gayness, for gay sex acts in the Bible. I'm not sure that's true, but yeah, the idea that Jesus was gay, not too hard to back up. Better to live for yourself than live for an imaginary friend. Yeah, sure is. O'Doyle rules. Schlong Kong joined. Thanks, man. Love the shirt. Thanks, Ranifred Chester Flicks. Do you believe in the flying spaghetti monster? Say ramen if you do. Ramen! May the flying spaghetti save you. Yes, and there's a lot of puns that go along with that, right? Though you extend the metaphor out. I had some fun with that. Praise his noodly appendages. Yeah, there's enough. There's more evidence for the spaghetti monster than there is for the God of the Bible. That's for sure. Oh yeah, Jesus was gay. Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, man. All hail the great cosmic goose. I heard people claim that Jesus was asexual. Well, yeah, I mean, if you read the Bible, right, that's the only thing you can, if you read it literally, it doesn't appear that they don't go there, right? But that's also, there was no mention of his life between the ages of what, 10 and 33. So what did he do? Party down at the frat house. What was he? A junkie in the streets. All of this goes to you know support the idea that we don't really know anything about him. He probably didn't exist. Fun fact: the Bible never mentions the Americas of the. Yeah, well, of course not. They didn't know. They didn't even know it existed, right? If Jesus states in the Bible not to honor him, but to honor the one who sent him, why Christian? If Jesus states in the Bible not to honor him, but honor the one who sent him, why? Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Why be Christian? But Jesus wasn't Christian, and he didn't know any Christians. They didn't come around until Paul had his fucking episode and invented it for us. They make him sound asexual because sex is demonized in the Puritan culture that we came up with in America. I'd much rather worship a Jesus who was into kinky sex, um, with whoever he wanted. That's just makes him a person, right? And that whole thing. Well, Jesus came down and God made himself in human form so that he could experience what it was like to be human, but he never got laid, right? I mean, come on, this is a singular human experience or experience of being alive, right? Is to have some good sex, but what did he experience? Being a preacher for 3 years, and other than that, we don't know. Come on, it's just so dumb. Uh, yeah, that's true. If you think about it, non-straight males were forced to act asexual, like priests back then. That's true. I mean, at some point, but again, it depended on where you were and what culture you're in. Because if you were part of the Roman Empire, they didn't, homosexuality was not demonized like it is here. If you were the penetrator, especially, it didn't. They didn't have a concept of gay. It wasn't like that. It was about gratification, and whatever you were into, was okay. I have a theory that most priests chose the path because they knew they were. Yeah, not all about most, but a lot of them absolutely, absolutely. There are priests who just didn't want to face their gayness and wanted to go ahead and be asexual. And again, that's the guilt and indoctrination and fear, right? If they could be themselves, they'd be so much happier, and so would the people around them because they're probably shitty priests, most of them. If that's the reason you got into priesthood. Love from the Netherlands. Thank you, my friend. Love my Dutch people. Uh, I meant asexual in the LGBTQ meaning. What is that? I'm not hip. Oh no, please do not demonize my brother Jesus, for he was a hit with the ladies. That's the thing. He probably could have gotten all kinds of action if he just go ahead and he probably did. If he was really, he probably did. I mean, the stories that he didn't are probably, again, just the way that was spun, the way that the writers of the Gospels, hundreds of years later, made up the myth, made up the mythology for us. It's disrespectful to call Jesus LGBT. Why? Is there something wrong with LGBT? Are you a bigot? Why is that disrespectful? That which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Thank you very much. That's Christopher Hitchens right there for you. And I went way overtime already, but that's cool. There's no one around. The girlfriend's traveling in ass, so she's not like dying for me to get off the live and spend time with her today. But I am my back's starting to get weak here from going on for over 2 hours for you lovely people, who I adore. Because Jesus wasn't LGBT and it's rude. No, you're rude. You don't know he wasn't LGBT. You don't know a thing about him. You don't even know he was real. So, you're talking complete and utter shit. Thanks for the like, Soup Overlord. I love that name, man. Love soup. Who doesn't love soup? I'm an old man. I eat soup. Thor's Thunder. I've been asking a lot of questions about the LGBTQ groups, but I can't seem to get a straight answer. What do you mean? From where? From who? The Incredible Shrinking Son of Man by Dr. Robert Price. Worked with Dr. Robert Price. He's a fucking really, really, really smart guy. And he's an atheist, and he doesn't care to be anti-theist. I've spoken to him at length about it. He thinks he's a mythicist. He doesn't think Jesus existed at all. And he's an atheist for him, but he doesn't cotton to the kind of anti-theism and activism that we do. Um, that's right up there with Hinata isn't black. Who's Hinata? Educate me, Tori Yujo. Don't know who Hinata is. Disrespectful to call Jesus gay. Why? To me, that would give him more cred. It would make it. It's a symbol of respect, you know. Slow mo. Many thanks to you for being here. Terrible Timp, Volvo fans, Eric Renz. Thanks for the likes, you guys. I am gonna quit it though. Appreciate all you guys on YouTube too, and I've had this joke question for years. Want to hear it? Makai Brown says, "Are you still there, Makai?" I apologize that I didn't see that earlier. You were talking about telling a joke. So yeah, I apologize for ignoring you people on YouTube, but the TikTok is just it's so much busier. I end up missing too much if I stop looking at the scroll as it goes by. So appreciate all you people. I am going to take off. It's almost 1 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. Remember to follow us on YouTube, subscribe on Instagram, go to Twitter if you want, and Facebook. I don't think anybody even uses those places anymore, but go to atheistunderground.com and catch all the old podcasts, or find them on iTunes and Spotify. You can find the podcast there, and you can get merch for now at cafepress.com. Atheist Underground gear. Love you guys so much for being here. Really, really, really great live. And so many more people than usual. And I'm so gratified. I love you all. I would climb through the camera and make love to each one of you, even you, the person who hates gay Jesus. So wrong. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye. The smart ones came here so you'd see our comments. Is that what that means? Sorry. Thanks, Dina. I appreciate you hanging out on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Share it if you want. If you prefer YouTube, I really try to get this one going, and so we can gain a following on YouTube. And I'm sorry, Makai, if I missed you. I do want to hear your joke, so maybe you can come on next time. And I appreciate all of you for being here and hanging out too. So take it easy. I will see you on Wednesday, if not before. All right. Much love.